Welcome to Wife Cheating Story. I hope you have an enjoyable and relaxing time listening. Let's get started.
The bandages came away bloody again. Third time tonight, and the kid still hadn't stirred. 23 years old, according to the chart, no ID when they brought him in. Hitandron victim, severe head trauma, been comatose for 6 days now. I'd seen enough of these cases to know the odds weren't great, but something about this one nagged at me. Dr. Chen, you need anything before I head out? Holly's voice cut through the silence of the trauma bay. Night shift at Seattle General had a way of making every sound echo. I'm good, just finishing up with our John Doe here. I kept my eyes on the fresh gauze I was applying. You heading home? Unless you need me to stay. She lingered by the doorway, and I could feel her watching me work. Holly had been on my rotation for 3 months now, competent, quiet, never asked personal questions. The kind of nurse you wanted during the brutal overnight shifts. Go home. Get some sleep. I secured the last piece of tape. I'll be here another few hours anyway. She hesitated, then nodded. See you tomorrow night, Dr. Chen. The trauma bay fell silent again. Just me and the steady beep of the monitors. I should have been reviewing charts, catching up on paperwork, but instead I found myself studying the kid's face. Clean-shaven. Good bone structure. The kind of face that probably broke hearts before someone broke his skull. That's when it happened. His lips moved. Just barely, but after 6 days of nothing, even a twitch felt significant. I leaned closer, listening. Dana. The name came out like a whisper from a tomb. Can't do this. My hand froze over his chart. Dana, my wife's name. Coincidence had to be. How many Danas were there in Seattle? Thousands, probably. Your husband. The words were slurred, barely audible. He's a doctor, works nights. The pen slipped from my fingers, clattering on the linoleum. My pulse hammered in my ears as I gripped the bed rail, knuckles white. Dana, please, it's over. Told you last week. I stumbled backward, hitting the supply cart. Instruments scattered across the floor. The noise should have brought someone running, but the trauma bay stayed empty. Just me and this kid who knew my wife's name, knew what I did for a living, knew things that made my wedding ring feel like a shackle. The monitors kept their steady rhythm while my world tilted off its axis. I forced myself to breathe, to think like a doctor instead of a husband. Check the chart again. Maybe I'd missed something. Corey Hoffman. The name had been updated since my last shift. Someone must have ID'd him. 23, local address in Capitol Hill. No emergency contacts listed. I pulled out my phone, then stopped. What was I doing? Calling Dana at 2 a.m. to ask if she knew a Corey Hoffman? That conversation would go nowhere good. Instead, I went back to examining him. The bruising pattern on his torso didn't match the typical hit-and-run trauma. Too concentrated. Too deliberate. The impact mark suggested he'd been hit head-on at speed by someone who didn't break. Someone who wanted him dead. Stop calling. Corey's voice drifted up again, weaker now. She'll find out. Her husband. I watched his face contort, fighting through whatever nightmare played behind his eyelids. Part of me wanted to shake him awake, demand answers. The other part, the part that had been a doctor for 15 years, knew better. Coma patients said all kinds of things, fragments of memory, snippets of overheard conversations, pure fabrication. It didn't necessarily mean anything, but my hands were shaking as I updated his chart. The drive home at 6 a.m. usually cleared my head. Today, every red light gave me too much time to think. Dana would be up by now, getting ready for her shift at Harborview. She'd been working there for 2 years, said she liked the energy of a bigger hospital. More opportunities, more excitement, more young men like Corey Hoffman. I pulled into our driveway and sat there, engine running. Through the kitchen window, I could see her moving around, hair up in that messy bun she always wore in the mornings. Same woman I'd married 12 years ago. Same woman who'd given me Kara, our beautiful, too smart for her own good daughter. Same woman whose name a comatose patient couldn't stop saying. The front door opened and Dana appeared, coffee mug in hand. She smiled and waved, that same easy smile that had knocked me sideways when we met during residency. Nothing guilty about it, nothing forced. I turned off the engine and grabbed my bag, pushing down the questions clawing at my throat. Not yet. Not until I knew more. Rough night? She kissed my cheek as I passed, smelling like vanilla shampoo and coffee. The usual. I hung my coat in the closet, movements automatic. Kara up yet? Still sleeping. I'll wake her in 20. Dana leaned against the counter, studying me over her mug. You okay? You look exhausted. Just tired. I opened the fridge, pretending to look for something. Hey, you ever mention what I do to people at Harborview? That I work nights? She laughed. Random question. Why? Had a patient rambling about doctors and night shifts. Made me wonder how much we talk about work outside work. Probably too much. She moved behind me, rubbing my shoulders. You need to get some sleep. You're not making sense. Her hands felt wrong on me somehow. Too casual, too familiar. I stepped away, grabbing a water bottle. Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna shower and crash. I'll try to keep Kara quiet before school. She checked her watch. Shit, I need to go. Love you. Love you too, I said automatically, the words tasting like ash. The shower didn't help. Neither did lying in our bed, staring at the ceiling while Dana's pillow still held the shape of her head. I kept replaying Corey's words, looking for other explanations. Maybe he knew a different Dana. Maybe the doctor husband was someone else. Maybe I was losing my mind. I grabbed my laptop and did something I'd never done before, logged into Dana's Facebook. We knew each other's passwords, had since forever. Trust, we called it. The foundation of a good marriage. Her recent posts were typical Dana. Pictures from Kara's school play. A sunset from our anniversary dinner last month. Complaints about hospital parking. Nothing suspicious. Nothing that screamed, affair with a patient young enough to be my brother. But then I checked her messages. Most were from co-workers, her sister in Portland, other mom friends. Normal stuff. But there was one conversation from 2 weeks ago that made my blood run cold. Unknown number. We need to talk about last night. Dana. I told you not to message me here. Unknown. You can't just disappear. I need to see you. Dana. It's over. I was clear about that. Unknown. Your husband doesn't deserve you. The messages ended there. Dana had blocked the number. I closed the laptop, heart hammering. It could be nothing. A persistent patient, a delusional coworker, but combined with Corey's rambling. My phone buzzed. Text from Holly. Forgot to mention your John Doe had a visitor yesterday afternoon. Pretty brunette, late 30s. Said she was a friend but couldn't provide any details. Security has her on camera if you need it. I stared at the message until the words blurred. Late 30s. Brunette, like my wife. Sleep wasn't happening. I got up, threw on jeans and a shirt, and headed downstairs. Kara was at the kitchen table, drowning her cereal in milk while scrolling through her tablet. Dad! She looked up, surprised. Why are you awake? Couldn't sleep. I ruffled her hair, trying to act normal. How's my favorite 4th grader? 5th grade, Dad, since September. She rolled her eyes, but smiled. Mrs. Rodriguez is taking me to school today. Mom had to leave early. Mrs. Rodriguez, our housekeeper, 3 days a week. Funny how I'd never really paid attention to her schedule before. That's nice of her. Hey, kiddo, has Mom seemed different lately? Kara scrunched her nose. Different how? I don't know. Just different. She's been going to book club a lot. Kara went back to her cereal. And she got new perfume. The fancy kind from the mall. New perfume. I tried to remember the last time Dana wore perfume for me. Book club's good, I managed. Reading's important. I guess, but she never brings any books home. The doorbell rang before I could process that. Mrs. Rodriguez bustled in with her usual efficiency, barely acknowledging me as she herded Kara toward her backpack. Dr. Chen, I didn't expect you awake. Her English was heavily accented but clear. Mrs. Dana said you worked very late. Couldn't sleep. I watched her avoid my eyes. Hey, what days do you usually come? I can never keep track. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. She helped Kara with her coat, but sometimes misses. Dana asks for extra days. Very busy lady. Right, busy. I forced a smile. Thanks for taking Kara. After they left, I stood in my empty house and tried to make sense of the wreckage my life had become in the span of 6 hours. My wife was lying about book club. She'd been messaging with someone she had to block. A patient who knew intimate details about our life was fighting for his life in my trauma bay. and I had no idea what to do next. By evening, I was back at the hospital an hour early. I needed to check on Corey before my shift officially started. The day nurse, Marcus, looked up from his charting as I approached. "You're early, Bradley. Can't stay away?" "Just wanted to check on our hit Andron." I kept my voice casual. "Any changes?" "Actually, yeah. He's been more active. Vitals are improving. Might be coming around soon." Marcus handed me the chart. "Cops were by again, too. They're treating it as attempted vehicular homicide now." "Based on?" "Witness finally came forward. Said they saw a dark sedan accelerate directly at him. No brake lights, no swerving. Deliberate as hell." I flipped through the notes, finding what I was looking for. Time of accident, 11:47 p.m., exactly 1 week ago. A Wednesday, one of Dana's book club nights. "The visitor yesterday," I said carefully. "Holly mentioned someone came by?" "Oh yeah, that was weird. Beautiful woman, but super nervous. Kept asking about his condition, whether he'd said anything. When I told her he was comatose, she looked, relieved, then guilty. Strange combination." "She leave a name?" "Nope. Security tried to get her info, but she bolted. Joe down at the desk said she drove off in a dark blue Accord." Dana drove a dark blue Accord. I made it through rounds on autopilot, checking on patients, reviewing charts, pretending my world wasn't imploding. Holly noticed she kept shooting me concerned looks but didn't push. That's what I appreciated about her. She knew when to leave things alone. Around midnight, I found myself back in Corey's room. His brain activity had increased significantly. The swelling was down. If the trend continued, he'd wake up within days, maybe hours. And then what? Would he confirm my worst fears? Would he look at me and see the husband of the woman who'd tried to kill him? "Dr. Chen." Holly stood in the doorway. "There's a detective here. Says he needs to talk to you about the Hoffman case." Detective Ray Morrison was everything you'd expect from Seattle PD rumpled suit, tired eyes, coffee breath. But those eyes sharpened when I walked into the conference room. "Dr. Chen, thanks for taking the time. I understand you've been Mr. Hoffman's primary physician?" "One of them? Yes." "Good. Good." He pulled out a notebook. "I'm trying to piece together what happened to him. The witness has been helpful, but I'm hoping he might have said something even unconsciously that could point us in a direction." I kept my face neutral. Coma patients rarely say anything coherent. But sometimes they do. He leaned forward. "Any names, maybe? Places? We're looking at this as a crime of passion, possibly a love triangle gone wrong." My wedding ring felt like it was burning. "Nothing that would help your investigation." "You sure about that?" His eyes stayed on mine. "Because the thing about love triangles, Doc, is that everyone involved thinks they're keeping secrets, but secrets have a way of spilling out, especially when someone ends up in your trauma bay. If he says anything relevant, I'll let you know." Morrison stood, leaving his card on the table. "You do that. Oh, and Doc, that visitor yesterday? We got a partial plate from the parking garage cameras. Might have a lead soon." After he left, I slumped in the chair. A partial plate. How long before they matched it to Dana's car? How long before my family became evidence in an attempted murder case? Holly found me in the break room at 3 a.m., staring at a cold cup of coffee like it held answers. "Okay, something's wrong." She sat across from me. "And don't say you're just tired. I've seen you tired. This is different." I really looked at her for maybe the first time. Early 30s, auburn hair always pulled back, green eyes that didn't miss much. She'd started here 6 months ago, mentioned once she was putting herself through nurse practitioner school. Quiet determination. That's what I'd thought then. Now I wondered what else I'd been blind to. Ever have your whole life turn out to be a lie? The words came out before I could stop them. She smiled sadly. "Yeah, actually. Why I moved to Seattle. What happened? Husband. Ex-husband now. Came home from a 12-hour shift to find him in our bed with my best friend." She shrugged. "Cliché, right? But clichés hurt just as bad as original betrayals." "What did you do?" "Threw up. Cried. Then got really, really organized." Her smile turned sharp. "Divorced him, took everything I could legally take, and started over 3,000 miles away. You asking for a friend? Something like that? She studied me for a long moment. The Hoffman case. It's personal somehow. Not a question. I nodded slowly. You need to be careful, she said quietly. Whatever you're thinking about doing, whatever you found out, be smart about it. Think like a surgeon. Plan your cuts. Don't let emotion make you sloppy. Speaking from experience? Let's just say my ex is living in a studio apartment and driving a 15-year-old Honda while I'm here, building the life I should have had all along. She stood. I'm here if you need anything, even if it's just someone who understands that sometimes the people we love most are capable of the worst betrayals. After she left, I sat there thinking about cuts, surgical precision, how to excise a cancer from your life without killing the patient. Because one thing was becoming clear. My marriage was already dead. I just needed to figure out how to perform the autopsy without destroying my daughter in the process. Dawn was breaking when I finally made it home. Dana's car was in the driveway, but something felt different. Wrong. The house was too quiet, even for 6 a.m. I found her in the kitchen, fully dressed, suitcase by the door. Mom's had a fall, she said quickly. I need to fly to Portland. Today. Is she okay? Broken hip. Surgery this afternoon. Dana wouldn't meet my eyes. I know it's sudden, but how long will you be gone? A few days. Maybe a week. She finally looked at me, and I saw it, the guilt, the fear, the calculation. Mrs. Rodriguez can help with Kara. I already called her. Convenient. What's that supposed to mean? I poured myself coffee, keeping my movements slow, controlled. Just that it's convenient. Your mom falling right now. Are you seriously suggesting I'm lying about my mother breaking her hip? Her voice rose, defensive. Classic redirect. I'm not suggesting anything. When's your flight? 10:30. She grabbed her suitcase. I need to go. Kiss Kara for me when she wakes up. Dana. She stopped at my voice. Your mom's in Good Samaritan, right? I'll send flowers. That's sweet. Yeah, Good Samaritan. Another lie. Her mom lived 15 minutes from Providence, Portland. She'd never go to Good Samaritan. I watched from the window as she loaded her suitcase, hands shaking as she fumbled with her keys. Running. But from what? The police? Her guilt? Or something else? My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. Your wife isn't in Portland. I stared at the message, then typed back, Who is this? Someone who knows what she did to Corey. Meet me at the Starbucks on Pine, 1 hour, come alone. I deleted the messages and headed upstairs to wake Kara. Whatever was coming, she needed to be at school, safe and oblivious. I'd protected her from the truth about Santa Claus until she was 8. Maybe I could protect her from this just a little longer. But as I watched her sleep, innocent and trusting, I knew the truth. Our perfect family was already gone. The only question now was how much would be left when the smoke cleared. The Starbucks on Pine was exactly the kind of place you'd pick for a clandestine meeting, busy enough to blend in, loud enough to mask conversation. I arrived 10 minutes early, ordered a black coffee I didn't want, and grabbed a corner table with clear sightlines to both entrances. She walked in 5 minutes late, and I knew immediately she was the one. Late 20s, nervous energy, kept checking over her shoulder. When her eyes landed on me, recognition flickered across her face. Dr. Chen? She slid into the opposite chair without waiting for confirmation. I'm Amy. I worked with Corey at the gym. How did you get my number? Corey had you listed as his emergency contact. She pulled out her phone, showed me a screenshot. Changed it 2 weeks ago. Said if anything happened to him, I should call you. My blood chilled. He knew something might happen? He was scared. Said he'd gotten involved with the wrong person, wanted out, but she wouldn't let go. Amy's hands shook as she lifted her cup. He showed me pictures. Your wife, Dr. Chen. He was sleeping with your wife. Even expecting it, the words hit like a physical blow. I forced myself to breathe, to stay clinical. How long? 3 months, maybe 4. Started as a training client at the gym. She said her marriage was over, that you two were separated but living together for your kid. Amy laughed bitterly. Corey believed her at first. Young guys always believe that story. What changed? He saw you two at a restaurant. Your anniversary dinner, he figured out later. You looked happy. In love, even. That's when he knew she'd been lying. Anniversary dinner. 6 weeks ago. Dana had worn the red dress I'd bought her, and we'd laughed about getting older, about Kara starting 5th grade, about maybe taking that European vacation we'd always talked about. So he tried to end it? Multiple times. But your wife. Amy leaned forward. She's not well, Dr. Chen. The things she said, the threats she made. Corey started recording their conversations, keeping screenshots. He was building a file in case he needed a restraining order. Where's the file? His cloud storage. I have the password. She slid a folded paper across the table. He made me promise to give it to you if anything happened. Said you deserve to know the truth. I pocketed the paper, mind racing. The accident wasn't an accident. Amy's voice dropped. The night it happened, Dana called him 37 times. He finally answered, told her to leave him alone or he'd tell you everything. 20 minutes later, he was in your trauma bay. You told the police? I tried, but without proof, they brushed me off. Hysterical girlfriend, they figured. Her jaw tightened. I'm not his girlfriend, I'm gay. Corey was like my little brother. And your wife tried to kill him because he wouldn't keep fucking her. The crude words made me flinch, but Amy wasn't done. She came to the hospital, you know. That visitor? I was there in the parking garage. Watched her walk in like she owned the place, all concerned and worried. Made me sick. Why didn't you? Because I'm scared, okay? Tears leaked down her cheeks. If she'd run down Corey in the street, what would she do to me? But then I thought about him lying there, maybe dying, and you taking care of him not knowing your own wife put him there. I couldn't stay quiet anymore. I handed her napkins from the dispenser, gave her time to compose herself. Around us, normal people lived their normal lives, oblivious to the bomb exploding in my chest. What do you want me to do? I asked finally. Make her pay. Amy's eyes hardened. Corey's a good kid. He made a stupid mistake, but he doesn't deserve to die for it. And you don't deserve to be married to a monster. If I access that cloud storage, if I take this to the police, then maybe Corey gets justice. Maybe you get free. She stood abruptly. I've done what he asked. The rest is up to you. She was halfway to the door when I called out. Amy, where's Dana really? She turned back, smiled grimly. Ask Damian Winters. Lives in that new complex on Mercer, 4B. Then she was gone, leaving me with a password and a name that would either save me or destroy what was left of my life. I sat in my car outside the hospital, laptop open, staring at the cloud storage login screen. Once I entered that password, there'd be no going back. No pretending this was all a misunderstanding, no saving face for Kara's sake. But Kara deserved better than a mother who'd commit attempted murder to cover an affair. She deserved the truth, delivered carefully, cushioned with love, but truth nonetheless. I typed in the password. The folder was labeled Insurance. Inside were dozens of files, photos, audio recordings, screenshots of texts. I clicked on a photo at random and nearly dropped the laptop. Dana in lingerie I'd never seen, in a bedroom I didn't recognize. The timestamp showed a Wednesday afternoon, book club day. I forced myself to go through more. Texts getting progressively more unhinged as Corey tried to distance himself. Dana, you can't just walk away. Corey, it's over. Accept it. Dana, I'll tell Brad you raped me. Corey, we both know that's a lie. Dana, who do you think he'll believe? His wife or some gym rat who seduced his patients? My hands clenched. She'd never been my patient, but the threat was clear she'd destroy him to keep her secret. The audio files were worse. Dana's voice, slurred with wine, alternating between seduction and rage, promising him money, threatening his job, saying she knew people who could handle problems. The last recording was from the night of the accident. Corey's voice firm but scared. I'm done, Dana. I'm going to tell him myself, if you don't leave me alone. Her response, you won't get the chance. 23 minutes later, according to the timestamp, Corey Hoffman was bleeding out on Stark Street. I called in sick for the first time in 5 years. Told them I had a stomach bug, which wasn't entirely a lie I'd thrown up twice since leaving Starbucks. Then I drove to Mercer Street, to the building Amy had mentioned. The complex was upscale, the kind of place young professionals lived while pretending they'd made it. I found 4B easily enough, could hear music playing inside. Before I could lose my nerve, I knocked. Damian Winters answered in boxers and nothing else. He was everything I wasn't 10 years younger. Abs you could wash clothes on. The kind of casual confidence that came from never doubting your place in the world. Yeah? He looked me up and down, dismissive. I'm Bradley Chen, Dana's husband. The change was instant. Color drained from his face, and he tried to slam the door. I caught it with my foot, pushed my way inside. Hey, man, I don't want any trouble. Neither do I. I closed the door behind me, noticed the photos on his mantle. Several of Dana, including one from last Christmas. Our Christmas. How long? Look, I didn't know she was married at first. How long? He collapsed onto his couch, head in his hands. 8 months, maybe 9. She said you were separated, sleeping in different rooms, only together for your kid. The same lie she'd told Corey. At least she was consistent. Let me guess, I said, surprising myself with how calm I sounded. She showed up here 2 days ago, needed a place to stay, told you her mother was sick? His silence was answer enough. Is she here now? Grocery shopping? He looked up at me, something like pity in his eyes. Dude, I'm sorry, I really didn't know. Not until... Until what? Until she showed up talking about Corey. About how he was in the hospital, might not make it. She was, happy about it. Said it solved a problem. He shuddered. That's when I knew something was seriously wrong. No one reacts to an accident like that. I pulled out my phone, showed him one of Corey's screenshots. It wasn't an accident. Damian went even paler as he read. Jesus Christ, she actually tried to kill him. Yeah. I pocketed my phone. And now she's hiding out here, letting me think she's in Portland with her sick mother. What are you going to do? I honestly don't know. It was the truth. All my careful planning, my surgical precision, and I was still just a man whose wife had shattered everything. When's she coming back? Any minute. He stood, started pacing. You should go. If she finds you here, what? She'll try to kill me too? I wouldn't put it past her. He grabbed a shirt, pulled it on. Look, I'll pack her shit, tell her to leave. I want no part of this. No. The word came out sharper than intended. Don't do anything different. I need time to think, to plan. Can you do that? Act normal for a few days? You want me to pretend I don't know my girlfriend tried to murder someone? I want you to help me make sure she faces consequences. Real ones, not just a messy divorce. I met his eyes. You said you were sorry. Prove it. He nodded slowly. What do you need me to do? Keep her here. Keep her feeling safe. And document everything what she says, when she leaves, who she talks to. I headed for the door. I'll be in touch. Dr. Chen, I turned back. For what it's worth, you seem like a good guy. You deserve better. So did Corey Hoffman. I left before Dana could return, but I sat in my car down the block and waited. Sure enough, 15 minutes later, her Accord pulled into the garage. She emerged with shopping bags, looking relaxed. Happy, even. No wonder she'd been so quick to leave this morning. She'd had somewhere to go, someone waiting. Our home was just a pit stop between her real life and the lies she told to maintain it. I drove away before the urge to confront her became overwhelming. Holly was right, I needed to be surgical about this. One wrong cut and everything would bleed out. Mrs. Rodriguez was in the kitchen when I got home, preparing dinner. She looked up, startled. Dr. Chen, Mrs. Dana said you were working. Changed my mind. I noticed how she wouldn't meet my eyes. Mrs. Rodriguez, can I ask you something? Of course. When you're here during the day, does Dana have visitors? Her hand stilled over the cutting board. I don't gossip about my employers. I'm not asking you to gossip, I'm asking for the truth. I pulled out a chair, sat down. My daughter's well-being might depend on it. She turned to face me, and I saw years of carefully maintained silence warring with genuine concern. Miss Kara is a good girl. She deserves better. Better than what? than a mother who brings men home while her father saves lives." The words came out in a rush, like a dam breaking. I say nothing because I need this job. My own grandchildren need food, school supplies, but I see things. I clean sheets that smell like cologne you don't wear. I find wine glasses when Mrs. Dana says she was at book club. How often? Once a week, sometimes twice, always when you work nights. She returned to chopping vegetables, movements aggressive. That young one, Corey, he was different. Came during the day sometimes. I told Mrs. Dana it was wrong, him being here when Kara could come home. She laughed, said I worried too much. When did he stop coming? 2 weeks ago. They had a fight, very loud. He said he was done being her toy. She threw a glass at him. Mrs. Rodriguez pointed to a faint stain on the wall. I couldn't get all the wine out. 2 weeks. Right before he changed his emergency contact to me. Right before someone tried to kill him. Has Damien been here? Her knife paused. Once or twice. But there have been others. The real estate man was just the latest. Others. Plural. My wife hadn't just cheated, she'd made a hobby of it. Mrs. Rodriguez, I need you to do something for me. If Dana comes home, if she acts like everything's normal, I need you to play along. Can you do that? What will you do? What I should have done months ago. Protect my daughter. She nodded firmly. I will help. For Miss Kara. That night, I tucked Kara into bed and sat on the edge, memorizing her face. How many more normal bedtimes would we have? Dad? Is Mom okay? Why do you ask, sweetheart? She seemed weird this morning. Scared, maybe. Kara pulled her stuffed elephant closer. And she forgot to say goodbye. Grandma's sick. Mom's just worried. Is that why you were home today? Because you're worried too? 9 years old and already too perceptive. Yeah, baby, I'm worried too. It'll be okay, she said with the confidence only children can muster. We take care of each other, right? That's what families do. I kissed her forehead, throat tight. That's right. No matter what happens, remember that I love you more than all the stars in the sky. And all the fish in the sea, she completed our ritual. Love you too, Daddy. I left her door cracked like always and headed to my home office. Time to think like a surgeon. Map out the anatomy of my marriage's destruction. Plan each incision. First, secure evidence. I downloaded everything from Corey's cloud storage, made multiple backups. Second, protect assets. Our joint accounts would need to be monitored, but moving money now would tip her off. Third, document everything. Dana's supposed Portland trip, Damien's address, Mrs. Rodriguez's observations. Fourth, lawyer up, but quietly, carefully. And fifth. The fifth step made my hands shake as I typed. Email to Detective Morrison. Detective, I have information about the Hoffman case. Can we meet tomorrow? Privately? I hit send before I could change my mind. There'd be no going back now. My phone rang at midnight. Dana. Hi, honey. How's your mom? Surgery went well. She's sleeping now. Her voice sounded strained, but I couldn't tell if it was fake concern or real guilt. How's Kara? Missing you. She noticed you forgot to say goodbye. Silence. Then, I was just so worried about Mom. Kiss her for me. Of course. Which hospital did you say? I want to send flowers. A pause. Good Samaritan. But don't bother with flowers. The room's already full. Another lie, so easily told. I wondered how many I'd swallowed over the years without tasting their bitterness. How long will you stay? Few more days at least. Mom will need help getting settled at home. Background noise music, laughter, not the sounds of a hospital. I should go. Love you. Dana? I waited until she was about to hang up. I know where you are. The silence stretched so long I thought she'd disconnected. Then, barely a whisper. Brad. I hung up. Let her wonder. Let her panic. Let her feel for just a moment the fear Corey must have felt when he saw her car bearing down on him. My phone immediately exploded with texts, calls. I turned it off and went to check the locks. All the surgical planning in the world couldn't prepare me for what came next. Because while I'd been playing detective, documenting betrayals and planning legal strategies, I'd missed the most important thing. Dana had nothing left to lose, and cornered animals do desperate things. I woke to the smell of smoke. For a moment, I thought I was dreaming. Then the smoke detector started shrieking, and I bolted upright. Gray haze filled the hallway, thick and acrid. "Kara!" I stumbled to her room, found her already awake, crying. "It's okay, baby. We need to go outside." I grabbed her blanket, wrapped it around her, and carried her down the stairs. The smoke was thicker here, but I could see the source, the kitchen, flames licking up from the stove. We burst out the front door into blessed cool air. Mrs. Chen from next door was already on her lawn, phone in hand. "Fire department's coming," she called. "Is everyone out?" "Yeah, we're okay." I set Kara down, kept my arms around her. "Just stay here, sweetheart." The fire wasn't large, looked like something on the stove had ignited, spread to the curtains. But as I watched the flames dance in my kitchen window, a terrible certainty settled in my gut. Dana hadn't been texting to reconcile. She'd been buying time. I borrowed Mrs. Chen's phone, called Detective Morrison's personal number. He answered on the third ring, groggy but alert. "Detective, it's Bradley Chen. Someone just tried to burn down my house with my daughter inside." "Jesus. You two okay?" "We're fine, but I know who did it." "Don't say another word on the phone. I'm on my way." The fire department made quick work of the kitchen fire. Damage was minimal: scorched cabinets, ruined curtains, smoke damage throughout the first floor. The fire captain showed me what they'd found: a pot of oil on the stove, burner on high, dish towel conveniently draped nearby. "Could have been an accident," he said, but his tone suggested otherwise. "Anyone else have access to your home?" "My wife. She's supposed to be in Portland." He made notes, expression carefully neutral. "You might want to check your security system." I'd forgotten about the cameras. Dana had insisted on them last year after a string of break-ins in the neighborhood. Ironic that they'd catch her instead of a burglar. Detective Morrison arrived as the fire crew was packing up. He took one look at my face and steered me away from the crowd of concerned neighbors. "Tell me everything. Start from the beginning." So I did. Corey's unconscious rambling, Amy's revelation, the cloud storage full of evidence, Damian Winters and Dana's fake Portland trip. By the time I finished, his notebook was full and his expression grim. "Why didn't you call me immediately?" "I needed to be sure. I have a daughter to think about." "You still have a daughter to think about, one whose mother apparently just tried to kill her." The words hit like ice water. I'd been thinking Dana was targeting me, but Kara had been in the house too. Would she have? "We need that security footage," Morrison said. "And I need you to think very carefully, is there anywhere safe you and your daughter can stay?" We ended up at Holly's apartment. She'd responded to my desperate 3 a.m. text without hesitation, arriving at the scene in yoga pants and a Seattle Grace hoodie, taking charge with the quiet efficiency I'd seen her display in trauma situations. "Of course you're staying with me," she'd said, cutting off my protests. "I have a spare room and you need somewhere Dana doesn't know about." Now Kara was asleep in that spare room, clutching the teddy bear Holly had mysteriously produced, while I sat on Holly's couch feeling like my life had become someone else's nightmare. "Drink this." Holly handed me a mug of something that smelled like whiskey and tea. "You're in shock." "I'm fine." "You're a doctor. You know shock when you see it." She sat beside me, close but not touching. "Your hands haven't stopped shaking since you got here." I looked down. She was right. I set the mug on the coffee table before I could spill it. "She tried to burn down our house," I said, the words feeling unreal. "With Kara inside. We don't know that for sure. The security footage. We'll show what it shows. Until then, you're safe, Kara's safe, and tomorrow we'll deal with whatever comes next." She pulled a blanket from the back of the couch, draped it over my shoulders. "When's the last time you slept? Really slept?" I couldn't remember. Days? A week? Time had become elastic since Corey started talking in his sleep. "Bradley." Her voice was gentle. "You can't save everyone if you don't save yourself first. Close your eyes. I'll keep watch." Maybe it was exhaustion. Maybe trauma. But I actually did what she said. The last thing I remember was Holly's hand on my shoulder, grounding me to something real while my world burned down around me. Morning came too soon, bringing with it the harsh reality of our situation. I woke on Holly's couch, disoriented until I smelled coffee, and heard Kara's voice from the kitchen. But why can't we go home? Sometimes houses need fixing, Holly was saying. Like when people get sick and need to stay in the hospital. Your house just needs a little healing time. I found them at the small dining table, Kara working through a bowl of cereal while Holly braided her hair. The domestic scene was so normal it made my chest ache. Dad! Kara brightened when she saw me. Holly knows how to do French braids? I see that. I kissed the top of her head, caught Holly's eye over it. Thank you, I mouthed. I called the school, Holly said quietly. Told them there was a family emergency. They're sending homework for the rest of the week. The rest of the week. Like we could wrap this nightmare up in 5 business days. My phone now charged thanks to Holly finding a compatible cord showed 17 missed calls. Dana, Detective Morrison, a number I didn't recognize. I stepped onto the balcony to check voicemails. Dana's voice frantic. Brad, please call me. Whatever you think happened, you're wrong. I can explain everything. I'm coming home. We need to talk. Morrison, all business. Dr. Chen, we have the security footage. You need to see this. Call me immediately. The unknown number. Dr. Chen, this is Patricia Winters, Damien's wife. I understand you know about my husband and your wife. We need to talk. Today. I met Morrison at the precinct while Holly took Kara to the aquarium. Field trip, she'd called it, but we all knew it was protective custody with a smile. The security footage was damning. Dana's Accord pulling into our driveway at 2:17 a.m. Her figure, dressed in dark clothes, using her key to enter. Lights flicking on in the kitchen. Then, 18 minutes later, her hasty exit as smoke began to wisp from the windows. She knew you'd discovered her location, Morrison said, freezing the frame on her face, panic and determination warring in her expression. This was about destroying evidence, maybe sending a message. She could have killed our daughter. I don't think that was the plan. See here? He pointed to another angle. She checked the smoke detectors first, made sure they were working. This was meant to scare, not kill. But fire. He shrugged. Fire doesn't always follow the plan. What now? Now we arrest your wife for arson, attempted murder of Corey Hoffman, and child endangerment. But first, we need to find her. She said she was coming home. Morrison's smile was sharp. Then let's make sure we're ready for her. Patricia Winters was nothing like I'd imagined. 60-something, silver-haired, wearing a power suit that probably cost more than my monthly mortgage. She'd commandeered a conference room at the Four Seasons and sat behind a small army of files like a general planning war. Dr. Chen, thank you for coming. She didn't stand, didn't offer to shake hands. Coffee? I'm fine. No, you're not. None of us are fine. Our spouses have made sure of that. She poured herself tea from a silver pot. How much do you know about my husband? Just that he's been sleeping with my wife. Sleeping with. Such a delicate phrase. Patricia's laugh was bitter. Damien has been sleeping with half of Seattle. Your wife is merely his latest. Though I must say, she's certainly the most. Dramatic. You knew? I've known about every affair for 15 years. We have an arrangement. He plays his games, I maintain control of the family assets. She opened a file. Until now, your wife has become bad for business. How so? The properties Damien uses for his liaisons? They're supposed to be investment holdings, clean rentals, clean books, but Dana. She slid a paper across. She's been using them for her own purposes, meeting other men, conducting what appears to be a rather lucrative side business. I stared at the bank statements. Regular deposits, always cash, always just under the reporting limit. What kind of business? The kind that involves wealthy men, hotel rooms, and untraceable payments. Patricia's smile was razor-sharp. Your wife isn't just a cheater, Dr. Chen. She's a professional. The word hit me like a physical blow. That's impossible. She's a nurse. She works 3 days a week at Harborview. Plenty of time for extracurricular activities. Patricia pulled out more documents. I hired investigators months ago when Damien's behavior became erratic. They were quite thorough. Photos spilled across the table. Dana entering hotels, different men on her arm. Dana at ATMs making deposits. Dana with men I recognized, hospital administrators, city officials, people whose faces graced Seattle society pages. Corey wasn't a lover, I said slowly. He was a client who wanted more. Smart boy. Yes, it appears young Corey made the mistake of falling for his provider. When he threatened to expose her, well, Patricia gestured elegantly. We know how that ended. Why are you telling me this? Because Dana is a problem for both of us. My divorce from Damien needs to be clean, quiet. A murder investigation involving prostitution would be messy. She leaned back. I propose an alliance. I help you bury Dana, legally speaking. You help me bury Damien financially. Everyone wins except the people who deserve to lose. I left the Four Seasons feeling like I'd stepped through the looking glass. My wife wasn't just unfaithful, she was living an entirely different life. The book clubs, the extra shifts, the new clothes and perfume, all covering for a secret that would destroy more than just our marriage. Morrison called as I sat in my car, trying to process Patricia's revelations. We've got a problem. Dana's at your house with a locksmith, claiming she lost her keys. Neighbor called it in. Send units now. I'm 15 minutes out. Bradley, don't I hung up, floored it out of the parking garage. Dana thought she could walk back into our life, pretend nothing had happened. But she didn't know about the security footage, didn't know Morrison was building a case, didn't know I'd discovered her real secret. Traffic crawled through downtown, each red light an eternity. By the time I reached our street, police cars had already blocked both ends. I parked behind the barricade, saw Morrison waiting. She's inside, he said. We're waiting on the warrant, but... A scream cut through the air. Kara's scream. That's my daughter. I pushed past him, but two officers held me back. She's supposed to be with Holly! Morrison's radio crackled. Suspect has a minor inside. Appears to be a hostage situation. The world tilted. Holly had taken Kara to the aquarium. How had Dana my phone rang? Holly's number. Bradley, I'm so sorry. She was crying. Dana showed up at the aquarium with two men. They said they were private security, that there'd been a threat. I tried to stop them, but it's not your fault. Are you hurt? No, but they took her. God, Bradley, they took Kara. SWAT arrived within minutes, surrounding our house with practiced efficiency. Morrison tried to establish contact, but Dana wasn't answering the phone. Through the windows, we could see movement, shadows that might have been my daughter or her increasingly desperate mother. Let me talk to her, I said. She wants me, not Kara. Absolutely not. We don't negotiate with, she's not a terrorist. She's a cornered woman who's lost everything. I pulled out my phone. I know what she wants to hear. Morrison hesitated, then nodded. I dialed Dana's number, put it on speaker. Brad? Her voice was raw, desperate. I'm here. Is Kara okay? She's fine. She's scared, but she's fine. A pause. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I know. I kept my voice calm, the way I did with panicked patience. Let's fix this. Send Kara out and we'll talk. You know I can't do that. She's all I have left. Dana, listen to me. Kara needs you to be her mother right now. That means keeping her safe. I am keeping her safe. From you, from them, from everyone who wants to tear our family apart. Morrison made a keep-going gesture. You're right, I said, hating myself for the manipulation. We can still be a family, but first, you need to let Kara go. She doesn't need to see this. Silence stretched between us. Then, you found out about the money. Yes. It wasn't supposed to be like that. It started as just attention, gifts. Then someone offered cash and we needed it for Kara's school, for the house. I understand. I didn't. But truth wouldn't get my daughter out safely. We can work through it. Can we? Her laugh was bitter. Even after Corey? Morrison's eyes sharpened. This was edging toward confession territory. That was an accident. I lied smoothly. You were upset, not thinking clearly. Any jury would understand. You're lying. Her voice hardened. You're all lying. But you know what? I don't care anymore. The line went dead. For 20 minutes, nothing. SWAT held position while negotiators tried to re-establish contact. I stood behind the barricade, helpless, watching my house like it might explode. Then the front door opened. Kara walked out slowly, still in her aquarium t-shirt, looking small and confused. A uniformed officer swept her up, carried her quickly to safety, to me. Daddy? She was crying as I crushed her against me. Mom's acting really weird. She kept saying she was sorry, that she loved me. You're safe now, baby. That's all that matters. But even as I held my daughter, I watched the house. Dana hadn't come out. Why let Kara go but stay inside? The answer came 60 seconds later when smoke began pouring from the windows. Not the kitchen this time, everywhere, all at once. "She's burning it down," Morrison said, already moving. "All units." The explosion cut him off. Not huge, but enough to blow out the living room windows. Later, they'd find she'd turned on the gas, let it build. A final fuck you to the life she'd destroyed. SWAT moved in, but I already knew what they'd find. Dana had chosen her exit, taken whatever secrets remained with her, except she hadn't counted on one thing. "She's alive," the paramedic reported. Critical, but alive. Looks like she was trying to get out when the gas blew. Lucky, in a way. Lucky. I watched them load her onto a gurney, half her body covered in burns, machines breathing for her. Was that luck? Kara clung to me as the ambulance pulled away. "Is Mom going to be okay?" "How did you answer that? Your mother's a prostitute who tried to murder her lover and just burned down our house, but sure, she'll be fine." "She's going to the hospital," I said instead. "They'll take care of her." "Will you take care of her? You're the best doctor." "I can't, sweetheart. But other good doctors will." Holly appeared at my elbow, face still streaked with tears. "I'm so sorry. When they showed up with badges, said they were police, you couldn't have known." I shifted Kara to one arm, put the other around Holly. "Dana's been planning this for days. We're just lucky it ended with everyone alive." "Dr. Chen," a young officer approached. "We need to process the scene, but is there anything you need from the house immediately?" I looked at the smoking ruin of my home, 13 years of memories going up in flames, photo albums, Kara's artwork, my grandmother's china all gone. "No," I said finally. "There's nothing left I need." Patricia Winters put us up in a hotel suite that night. "Consider it an investment in our mutual success," she'd said, handing me the key cards. "The papers will have a field day tomorrow. Better to be somewhere with good security." She was right. By morning, the story was everywhere. Prostitute, nurse torches family home in custody battle. They'd already dug up Corey's case, connected the dots. Dana's photo, a professional headshot from the hospital website, graced every news site. I turned off the TV, found Kara on the suite's balcony, still in borrowed pajamas. "Holly said we might get a new house," she said without looking at me. "One where bad things didn't happen." "Would you like that?" "I don't know. All my stuff was in the old house." She finally met my eyes. Why did Mom do it? The question I'd been dreading. I sat beside her, chose my words carefully. Sometimes people get sick in their minds, not just their bodies. Mom got that kind of sick and she made some bad choices. Like lying? Yes, and hurting people. Like Corey? Holly told me he was getting better. Damn Holly and her honesty. But maybe that was what we needed now, truth. Carefully measured, but real. Yes, like Corey. Mom hurt him because she was scared. Will she hurt us? No, baby. She can't hurt anyone now. Kara leaned against me, 9 years old and already too wise. I still love her. Is that wrong? No, love isn't wrong. We can love people and still know they've done bad things. Do you still love her? I thought about Dana in the ICU, machines keeping her alive while prosecutors prepared charges. The woman I'd married was gone, maybe had never existed. But the mother of my child, the person who'd shared 13 years of life, I love who she used to be, I said finally, but that person's gone now. Like Grandma? My mother had died when Kara was 6. Kind of like that, yes. We sat in silence, watching Seattle wake up below us. Somewhere in the city, Corey was learning to walk again. Patricia was dismantling Damien's empire. Holly was probably at work, saving lives while I figured out how to rebuild mine. Dad? Kara's voice was small. Are we going to be okay? I pulled her close, kissed the top of her head. Yeah, baby, we're going to be okay. And for the first time since Corey Hoffman started talking in his sleep, I actually believed it. 2 weeks later, I stood in a courtroom watching my wife get arraigned from a wheelchair. The burns had healed enough for her to leave ICU, but she'd never looked the same. Half her face was a patchwork of grafts, her once beautiful hair gone, hands wrapped in compression garments. How does the defendant plead? Her lawyer, public defender, since our assets were frozen, whispered urgently in her ear. Dana's eyes found mine across the room, still that same brown, but now holding something I'd never seen before. Defeat. Not guilty, Your Honor. The judge, a stern woman who'd seen too many domestic tragedies play out in her courtroom, wasn't buying it. Bail is set at $2 million. The defendant will surrender her passport and submit to electronic monitoring if she makes bail. Dana's lawyer didn't even bother objecting. We all knew she'd never make bail. As they wheeled her out, she mouthed something at me. I'm sorry. Or maybe, help me. I turned away before I could be sure. You did the right thing, Morrison said beside me. Testifying against her in the grand jury, not many spouses could do that. She's not my spouse anymore. The divorce papers had been filed the day after the fire. Abandonment, attempted murder, child endangerment. My lawyer said it would be the fastest divorce in Washington state history. Still, it couldn't have been easy. He was wrong. It had been the easiest thing in the world. I'd simply told the truth. About finding Corey's files. About Dana's double life. About the fire that almost killed our daughter. The grand jury had indicted on all counts plus a few I hadn't expected: fraud, money laundering, tax evasion. Patricia's investigators had been thorough. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. I'd learned to keep my head down, give them nothing. But one voice cut through the chaos. Dr. Chen, Lily Zhao, Seattle Times. How does Kara feel about her mother facing life in prison? I stopped, turned. The reporter was young, eager, the kind who thought ambush journalism would make her career. My daughter is 9 years old, I said quietly. She feels the way any child would feel watching their parent self-destruct. Confused, hurt, but surrounded by people who actually put her well-being first. That's all you're getting from me. But don't you think the public deserves accurate reporting, not exploitation of a traumatized child? Do better. Holly was waiting by my car, having taken a half day to support me. She'd been doing that a lot lately, showing up when I needed someone, disappearing when I needed space. It was a delicate dance, but somehow she never missed a step. How bad was it? She asked as I slid behind the wheel. She looks like a ghost. Acts like one, too. Like she's already gone and we're just watching the echo. Maybe that's for the best. Easier for Kara to let go if the person doesn't even look like her mom anymore. It was a harsh truth, but Holly specialized in those. In the weeks since the fire, she'd become our anchor, picking Kara up from school when I had surgeries, cooking dinners in our temporary apartment, being present without being pushy. Amy Kwan called, she said as I navigated downtown traffic. Corey's doing well in rehab. He wants to see you. I don't know if that's a good idea. He's a victim too, Bradley, and he's the reason you found out the truth. Maybe you both need closure. Corey looked smaller than I remembered, but that might have been the wheelchair. He was in the rehab center's garden, face turned up to catch the weak Seattle sun. When he saw me, his expression cycled through fear, guilt, and something like relief. Dr. Chen, I wasn't sure you'd come. I wasn't sure either. I sat on a nearby bench, kept my distance. How's the recovery? Slow. They say I'll walk again, but... He gestured at his legs. Nerve damage. Might always have a limp. I'm sorry. Are you? His laugh was bitter. I slept with your wife. Kind of had it coming. No one deserves to be run down in the street. Maybe not. But I knew she was married. Knew she had a kid. He trailed off, looking younger than his 23 years. She made me feel special, you know, like I was more than just another trainer at the gym. That was her gift, I said, surprising myself with the lack of anger. Making people feel like they were the only person in the world, right up until they weren't useful anymore. Is it true what the news is saying? About the others? 12 that we know of. You were the only one she tried to kill, though. Consider yourself special. He flinched. I loved her. How fucked up is that? Even after she tried to murder me, part of me still loved her. Love makes us stupid sometimes. Did you love her? The question I'd been avoiding for weeks. I loved who I thought she was, but that person never existed. I was just another Mark who happened to put a ring on her finger. That evening, I found Kara in her room at the temporary apartment, working on homework. We'd managed to salvage some things from the house clothes, a few toys, her laptop that had been in her backpack. Everything else was smoke damage and memories. "Hey, kiddo, how was school?" "Fine." She didn't look up from her math worksheet. Jenna asked if Mom was really a prostitute. I told her that was a bad word. Jesus, kids could be cruel. "What did your teacher say?" Mrs. Park made Jenna apologize, but everyone still whispers. Finally, she met my eyes. "Is it true?" I sat on her bed, chose my words carefully. "Mom took money from people she shouldn't have, but that doesn't define who she is to you. Holly says we get to choose what parts of people we keep in our hearts." Of course, Holly had the perfect answer. The woman should write parenting books. "Holly's right. What parts do you want to keep?" Kara thought about it, pencil tapping against her paper. "The time she taught me to ride a bike, when she stayed up all night when I had the flu, movie nights when you worked late. Those are good parts to keep." "What parts are you keeping?" "The day you were born. She was so happy, so proud. That was real. It had to have been. And maybe that's enough." The phone rang after midnight. I'd been lying awake anyway, staring at the ceiling of the apartment that didn't feel like home. "Dr. Chen? This is Dr. Patel at Harborview. I'm sorry to call so late, but you're listed as Dana Chen's emergency contact." My stomach dropped. "What happened?" "She attempted suicide in her cell. Pills, we think, smuggled in somehow. She's stable now, but—" He paused. "She's asking for you. I don't think that's appropriate. I understand, but she's quite insistent. Says she has information you need about your daughter's safety. A manipulation, probably. Dana playing her last card. But when it came to Kara, I'll be there in 20 minutes. She looked worse under the harsh hospital lights. The burns, the weight loss, the dull eyes barely recognizable as the woman who'd once turned heads wherever she went. "You came," she whispered. "You mentioned Kara. Talk." "Straight to business. You've gotten harder, Brad. You tried to burn down our house with our daughter inside. I'd say hard is appropriate." She closed her eyes. "I wasn't. I checked her room first. Empty. I thought she was with you. She was supposed to be with Holly until you hired thugs to kidnap her." "Not thugs. Private security. I hired them to bring her to me, keep her safe while I—" She trailed off. "While you what? Burned evidence? Destroyed our life?" "While I disappeared." Her eyes opened, focused on mine with surprising clarity. "I had a plan. Take Kara, empty the offshore accounts, start over somewhere without extradition. Brazil, maybe." "Offshore accounts?" A ghost of her old smile. "You didn't find everything, Brad. There's more money. Hidden. For Kara. Blood money. College money. Medical school if she wants." She shifted, winced. "Papers are in a safety deposit box. Bank of America, downtown branch. Keys in my jewelry box, the one at Damien's." I studied her face, looking for the lie. But what did she have left to lie about? "Why tell me?" "Because I'm done. The pills. That wasn't a cry for help. I meant it. But they saved me. And now—" She laughed. A broken sound. "Life in prison or death by my own hand. Some choice. You had choices before. You chose wrong. I chose survival. You don't understand what it was like, being invisible. Just another nurse, another wife, another suburban mom. They made me feel alive." "So you decided to make them pay for the privilege?" "It started as gifts. Dinners. Then one offered $1,000 for a weekend, and suddenly I could afford Kara's private school without begging you to take extra shifts. I would have worked 24/7 for Kara. You know that." "I know. But I wanted to contribute. To matter." She closed her eyes again. "I'm not asking for forgiveness. Just take care of her, and tell her I'm sorry. For everything." I left the hospital as the sun was rising, Dana's words echoing in my head. By the time I got home, Holly was already there, making breakfast while Kara got ready for school. "Rough night?" She slid a cup of coffee across the counter. "Dana tried to kill herself." Holly's hand stilled on the spatula. "Is she—" "Alive, talking. Had some interesting things to say about hidden money." "Brad." I know, it's probably a manipulation. But if there's money that could help Kara, then we check it out. Carefully, with lawyers present. She plated eggs, handed them to me. But first you eat. You look like death. We? She blushed slightly. I mean you. You check it out. I just meant Holly. I caught her hand. Thank you. For everything. I don't know how we would have survived this without you. You would have found a way. You're stronger than you think. Maybe, but I'm glad I didn't have to find out. Kara bounded in then, backpack swinging. Holly, did you make the special eggs? With extra cheese, just how you like them? I watched them interact, easy and natural. Holly had slipped into our lives like she'd always belonged there. Maybe that should have scared me, but after weeks of chaos, it just felt like coming home. Dad, can Holly come to my school play next week? I'm playing a tree. If she wants to. Of course I want to, Holly interrupted. I love trees, especially theatrical ones. Kara beamed. It's Tuesday at 7. Don't be late. As Holly drove Kara to school, another part of our new routine, I sat in the quiet apartment and thought about the future. Dana would likely take a plea deal, 25 to life if she was lucky. The divorce would be final within weeks. Insurance would eventually pay for the house. Let us start over somewhere new. And Holly. Holly would be there if I let her. If I could trust again. My phone buzzed. Patricia Winters. Bradley, I have news. Damien's agreed to testify against Dana in exchange for immunity on the fraud charges. Says he has recordings of her discussing the attempt on Corey. Of course he does. It's good for us. Ensures she won't see daylight for decades. Also, I've had my people look into those offshore accounts she mentioned. They're real. Nearly $500,000. Jesus. Indeed. I can help you recover it for a finder's fee, of course. 15%? 10. Deal? Oh, and Bradley, that nurse of yours, Holly, she's good people. Did some checking, stellar reputation, no skeletons, in case you were wondering. I wasn't, of course not. But after what we've been through, a little due diligence never hurts. Take care, Bradley. That evening, I watched the news coverage of Dana's case with the sound off. They'd found a photo from our wedding to run alongside her mugshot. The contrast was stark, radiant bride to broken criminal in 13 years. Turn it off, Holly said from behind me. It's not helping anything. I keep thinking I should have seen it. The signs. Maybe. Or maybe she was just that good at hiding it. She sat beside me, close but not touching. You can't blame yourself for trusting your wife. Can I? No. Because if you do, if you let her betrayal poison your ability to trust, then she wins. And Dana's won enough, don't you think? I turned off the TV, looked at Holly in the lamplight. Are we talking about Dana or your ex? Both, maybe. I spent 2 years convinced I'd never trust anyone again. Then I came here, started over, and realized holding on to that fear was just letting him control me from 3,000 miles away. So you trust again? I try. Little bits at a time. It's scary as hell, but the alternative is worse. She stood to leave. I should go. Early shift tomorrow. Holly. She turned at the door. Tuesday at 7. You'll be there? Her smile lit up the room. Wouldn't miss it. I love trees, remember? After she left, I did something I hadn't done in weeks. I pulled out a photo album that had survived in the garage, flipped through images of the life we'd built on lies. But between the deception, I found moments that felt true. Kara's first steps, family vacations, quiet Sunday mornings when the world felt perfect. Maybe Holly was right. Maybe holding on to the good parts wasn't weakness but survival. Dana had taken enough. She didn't get to take these memories too. My phone rang. Morrison. Doc, thought you should know. Corey Hoffman just called. Says he wants to testify at Dana's trial. Kid's angry, wants justice. Can't blame him. No, but here's the thing, he also wants to apologize. To you, publicly. Says he needs to clear his conscience. Tell him conscience clearing can wait until after the trial. I don't need his guilt. I need him focused on putting Dana away. Fair enough. Oh, and Doc? We traced those offshore accounts. Your wife was busier than we thought. Nearly 3 dozen clients over 2 years. Christ. Yeah. The good news is it makes the case airtight. The bad news is it's all going public. You might want to prepare Kara. After he hung up, I sat in the dark apartment thinking about damage control. How did you prepare a 9-year-old for that level of public humiliation? How did you explain that Mommy wasn't just unfaithful but a criminal enterprise unto herself? You didn't. You just loved them through it and hoped that was enough. The next morning brought lawyers. Jennifer Martinez, my divorce attorney, arrived with boxes of documents and a grim expression. The offshore accounts are accessible, but it'll take time. Dana's cooperation would help, but she's playing games. She wants visitation rights. Says she'll sign over the money in exchange for supervised visits with Kara. Absolutely not. That's what I told her lawyer. But Bradley, she's still Kara's mother. Courts don't like completely severing parental rights unless there's ongoing danger. She tried to burn down our house. While Kara wasn't home, her lawyer will argue, and the suicide attempt shows remorse, mental illness, rather than malice. Jennifer held up a hand before I could explode. I'm not saying I agree, I'm saying this is what we're up against. So what do? We negotiate. Maybe letters, phone calls with supervision. Nothing in person until Kara's older and can decide for herself. It felt like letting Dana win something, but maybe that was okay. Maybe winning everything would cost Kara more than losing a little. Set up a meeting, I said finally. Let's see what she really wants. That afternoon, I picked Kara up from school myself. She chatted about her day, friends, the play rehearsal, normal kid stuff that felt like a miracle after everything. Dad, is Holly your girlfriend? The question came out of nowhere, almost made me miss a turn. What makes you ask that? Jenna says when grown-ups spend lots of time together after a divorce, it means they're dating. Jenna seems to have lots of opinions. So is she? I pulled into our parking spot, turned to face my too perceptive daughter. Holly is our friend. She's helping us through a tough time. But you like her. I do like her. Like her? It's complicated, baby. Right now, I'm focused on you and getting our life back together. I think Mom knew you'd like Holly. She complained about her once, said she was too pretty to work nights. Another revelation in a month full of them. Had Dana seen something I'd been blind to? Or was paranoia just another symptom of her double life? Well, Mom's not here to complain anymore. I know. Kara unbuckled her seatbelt, then paused. Dad, I think it's okay if you like Holly. She makes good eggs. Trust a 9-year-old to reduce complex emotions to breakfast food. That evening, while Kara did homework, I finally tackled the boxes from the house. Insurance adjusters had salvaged what they could, and I needed to inventory everything for the claim. Most of it was smoke-damaged beyond saving, but in one box I found our wedding album, edges charred but photos intact. I flipped through, looking for signs I'd missed. But Dana looked genuinely happy, genuinely in love. Either she'd been acting from day one or somewhere along the way, that woman had died and been replaced by a stranger. Find anything good? Holly stood in the doorway with takeout bags. I didn't hear you come in. Kara let me in. Hope that's okay, I brought Chinese. It's more than okay. I closed the album. Just going through old photos, trying to understand. Any luck? No, she looks the same. Happy. Normal. Not like someone planning to become a... I couldn't say the word. People change, or maybe they just reveal who they always were. Holly unpacked containers, movements efficient. Either way, that's not who you need to focus on now. Who should I focus on? She paused, met my eyes. Yourself, Kara. The future instead of the past. Is that what you did? After your ex? Eventually. Took a while to stop looking backward, wondering what I'd missed. But one day I realized I was so busy examining the rearview mirror, I was missing the road ahead. And what did you find on that road? Seattle, my career, purpose. She smiled softly. Other things. The air between us shifted, charged with possibility. But before either of us could act on it, Kara bounded in. Chinese food. Did you get spring rolls? Would I forget your spring rolls? Holly produced them with a flourish. Extra sweet and sour sauce, just how you like them. Watching them together, easy and laughing, I felt something I hadn't in weeks. Hope. Maybe you could build something real on the ashes of betrayal. Maybe second chances weren't just for other people. Dad, you're being weird, Kara said through a mouthful of spring roll. Just thinking. Well, stop. It's dinner time. So I stopped thinking and just existed in the moment, my daughter happy, a beautiful woman who inexplicably cared about us sharing our table, the future uncertain but no longer terrifying. It wasn't the life I'd planned, but maybe that was okay. The life I'd planned had been built on lies anyway. Later, after Kara was asleep and Holly was gathering her things to leave, I finally said what I'd been thinking all evening. Stay. She froze, hand on her purse. Bradley. Not like that. Just stay. Watch a movie. Talk. Be normal for a few hours. I don't think either of us knows what normal is anymore, so we'll figure it out together. She studied me for a long moment, then set down her purse. Okay, but I picked the movie. Your taste is terrible. My taste is refined. You own 3 copies of Die Hard. It's a Christmas movie. Her laugh filled the apartment, warm and real. We settled on the couch, careful distance between us, and watched some romantic comedy I'd never remember. What I would remember was the way she curled her feet under her, how she mouthed along with dialogue she'd clearly seen before, the moment halfway through when she fell asleep on my shoulder. I sat there in the dark, Holly breathing softly against me, and thought about trust, how it broke, how it mended, how sometimes you had to take the leap even when you couldn't see the landing. My phone lit up with a text, unknown number. This isn't over. Dana, somehow from somewhere. Even facing life in prison, she couldn't let go. I deleted the message, pulled a blanket over Holly, and closed my eyes. Let Dana rage from her cell. Let the lawyers sort through the wreckage. Let the world judge our disaster of a marriage. I had more important things to focus on, like the woman asleep on my shoulder and the daughter down the hall, like building something true from the ashes of lies. The rest could wait until morning. The prosecutor's office looked like a war room. Jennifer Martinez, my divorce attorney, sat beside ADA Christine Walsh, who'd been assigned Dana's criminal case. Between them lay evidence boxes, photographs, and enough documentation to bury my ex-wife. I corrected myself several times over. Dr. Chen, we need to discuss your testimony, Walsh said, sliding a legal pad across the table. The defense is going to paint you as a vindictive husband. We need to be prepared. Let them try. I pulled out my phone, scrolled to Corey's files. I have recordings of her threatening to kill him, security footage of her setting our house on fire. What possible defense could they mount? Temporary insanity, Jennifer said quietly. Her lawyers already filed notice. They're claiming the stress of her double life caused a psychotic break. Bullshit. Of course it is. Walsh leaned forward. But juries eat that stuff up. Beautiful woman, dedicated nurse, loving mother suddenly snaps. They'll paint her as the victim. While my actual daughter sleeps in a borrowed bed because her mother burned down our house? Which is why we need your testimony to be bulletproof, clinical, emotionless. You're not the wronged husband, you're the doctor who discovered evidence of attempted murder. I thought about Dana in that hospital bed, burned and broken, still trying to manipulate me with tales of hidden money. The woman I'd married was gone if she'd ever existed at all. What remained was just a criminal defendant, case number 2023 CF 4847. I can do clinical, I said. After the meeting, I found myself driving past our old neighborhood. The house was gone now, bulldozed after the fire inspector condemned it. Just an empty lot with a for sale sign, like our 13 years together had been erased. My phone buzzed. Patricia Winters. Bradley, I have news. Damien's been transferred to federal custody. He's singing like a canary about Dana's side business. How bad? 37 confirmed clients over 2 years. She kept meticulous records, dates, times, amounts, even rated them. Her laugh was bitter. My husband got 3 stars. Apparently he was adequate but unimaginative. Despite everything, I almost smiled. Even in her secret life, Dana had been ruthlessly organized. There's more, Patricia continued. Several clients were prominent figures, a judge, 2 city councilmen, the deputy chief of police. This is about to become very public, very messy. Christ. I pulled into a parking lot, needed to stop driving. Kara doesn't need this. No, but she needs the truth. Better from you than from some news anchor. Patricia's voice softened slightly. I've arranged a media consultant, someone who can help you control the narrative. Catherine Price, she's the best. I don't want to control anything. I just want this to be over. It will never be over, Bradley. Not really, but we can make it manageable. Meet with Catherine. For Kara's sake. Holly was at the apartment when I got back, helping Kara with a science project. They'd turned our small dining table into a volcano workshop, complete with baking soda and vinegar. Dad, watch this. Kara poured the vinegar, and foam erupted from her papier-mâché mountain. Holly showed me how to add food coloring for lava. Very realistic. I kissed the top of her head, caught Holly's eye. She could read my expression, knew something was wrong. Hey, kiddo, why don't you draw your observations while I help your dad with something? Holly suggested. Okay, but don't touch my volcano. It's still active. In the kitchen, I summarized the meeting, Patricia's call, the media storm heading our way. Holly listened without interrupting, then pulled me into a hug. We'll get through this, she murmured against my chest. We? She pulled back, met my eyes. Unless you want me to go. No. The word came out too fast, too desperate. No, we need you. I need you. Then you have me. She touched my face gently. Whatever comes next, you don't have to face it alone. Looking at her, this woman who'd entered our chaos and chosen to stay, I felt something I hadn't in months. Safe. Not happy. Exactly too much wreckage for that, but safe. Dad, Holly, the volcano's erupting again. The moment broke, but Holly smiled. Duty calls, but Bradley, we'll talk later, when there's less lava. Catherine Price looked like she could stare down a hurricane and make it apologize. 60-something, silver hair and a perfect chignon, wearing a suit that probably cost more than my monthly rent. Dr. Chen, I've reviewed your case. She opened a leather portfolio. The media loves a scandal, especially one involving sex, money, and attempted murder. Your wife, excuse me, ex-wife is about to become Seattle's most notorious woman. How do we protect Kara? By getting ahead of it. Controlled interviews, carefully crafted statements. You're the dedicated doctor and father who discovered his wife's crimes and protected his daughter. She's the villain. We keep that narrative clean. I don't want to do interviews. Then you let others tell your story. Dana's lawyer is already shopping around for sympathetic coverage. Nurse driven to desperate measures by neglectful husband. That sound accurate to you? That's ridiculous. I worked nights to provide for... I know, but the truth matters less than who tells it first. Catherine slid a paper across. This is a statement I've prepared. Read it, memorize it, use it whenever anyone asks about the case. I scanned the words. Clinical, detached, focusing on Kara's well-being and the legal process. Nothing about the rage, the betrayal, the nights I'd stayed awake wondering if our entire marriage had been a lie. It's perfect, I said. Of course it is. I also recommend limited social media, no dating profiles, and absolutely no public relationship with that nurse who's been helping you. Holly's just a friend who spends nights at your apartment and takes your daughter to school. Catherine's smile was sharp. I'm not judging, Dr. Chen, but optics matter. The grieving widower, metaphorically speaking, plays better than the man who moved on quickly. I haven't moved on. I'm just trying to survive. Same thing in my business. She stood, gathering her things. The preliminary hearing is next week. Wear the charcoal suit, conservative tie. Look professional but not wealthy. And whatever you do, don't smile when you see Dana. Juries remember things like that. That evening, I sat with Kara as she got ready for bed. The volcano project had earned an A, and she was still glowing from the success. Dad, are you sad about the house? A little. Are you? Sometimes. I miss my room and the big tree in the backyard. She hugged her stuffed elephant tighter. But Holly says home isn't a place. It's the people who love you. Holly's pretty smart. Yeah. Kara was quiet for a moment. Is Mom ever coming home? The question I'd been dreading. I sat on her bed, chose my words carefully. No, sweetheart. Mom did some things that hurt people, and now she has to face consequences. Like when I hit Tommy Martinez and had to apologize and miss recess? Kind of, but much more serious. Mom hurt people badly, and she has to go away for a long time. Did she hurt you? Such a simple question with such a complicated answer. Yes, but I'm okay now. Good, because Holly says you deserve to be happy. She yawned. I think so too. I tucked her in, marveling at her resilience. Kids were amazing that way. They could adapt to almost anything if they felt loved and safe. Sweet dreams, baby. Dad, can Holly stay tonight? I like when she makes breakfast. I'll ask her. Holly was cleaning up the volcano supplies, movements efficient but tired. She'd pulled another double shift before coming over. Kara wants to know if you'll stay. Something about breakfast. She's transparent as glass, that one. Holly smiled. But I should go. Catherine Price made some good points about optics. Screw optics, Bradley. No, I mean it. I've spent months discovering my entire life was a performance. I'm done pretending. I moved closer. Stay. Make breakfast. Be here when we wake up. Let people think whatever they want. She studied my face. You sure? I'm sure I want my daughter to see what a healthy relationship looks like. I'm sure you make both of us feel safe. I'm sure I sleep better when you're here. I touched her hand. Is that enough? It's everything. She laced our fingers together. But I'm sleeping on the couch. We do this right for Kara. For Kara, I agreed, though every cell in my body wanted to pull her closer. The preliminary hearing arrived too fast. I sat in the witness prep room, Catherine on one side, Jennifer on the other, while ADA Walsh ran through questions one more time. Remember, Walsh said, just answer what's asked. Don't elaborate. Don't show emotion. You're a doctor reporting facts. Through the window, I could see the media circus outside, vans with satellite dishes, reporters practicing their stand-ups. Catherine had been right, the story was everywhere. High-end call girl nurse attempts murder had been the most tasteful headline. Dr. Chen? A bailiff appeared. They're ready for you. The walk to the courtroom felt endless. I kept my eyes forward, ignored the whispers from the gallery. Then I saw her. Dana sat at the defense table, and for a moment I didn't recognize her. The burns had healed badly despite treatment, leaving the left side of her face a web of scars. She'd lost weight, her once perfect hair now thin and gray. But her eyes, those calculating eyes, remained the same. She smiled when she saw me. That same smile she'd used 1,000 times, the one that said she knew something I didn't. My step faltered. Eyes forward, Catherine whispered from the gallery. She's nothing to you now. I took the stand, placed my hand on the Bible, and swore to tell the truth. The same hand that had worn a wedding ring for 13 years, that had held Dana's during Kara's birth, that had signed divorce papers with relief and regret. State your name for the record. Dr. Bradley Chen. And your relationship to the defendant? I looked at Dana one more time. She was leaning forward, lips parted like she wanted to say something. Her lawyer put a restraining hand on her arm. She's my ex-wife, I said clearly, and the woman who tried to murder Corey Hoffman. Dana's smile faltered. Good. Let her realize I wasn't playing anymore. Walsh began her questions, walking me through that night in the trauma bay, Corey's words, the investigation that followed. I kept my answers clinical, precise, just another case study in betrayal. Did you discover evidence of the defendant's activities? Walsh asked. Yes, financial records showing 37 clients over 2 years, text messages arranging meetings, photographs of a sexual nature with multiple men. Objection, Dana's lawyer called. Prejudicial. Goes to motive, Your Honor, Walsh countered. The victim threatened to expose these activities. Overruled. Continue. I detailed finding the burner phone, the offshore accounts, the evidence Corey had collected. Each revelation felt like another nail in Dana's coffin, but I kept my voice steady, professional. Dr. Chen, did the defendant ever discuss Corey Hoffman with you? No. I discovered the affair through Mr. Hoffman's unconscious statements while I was treating him. And what did you do with that information? I investigated quietly, concerned for my daughter's safety. I hired a private investigator and began documenting evidence. Why not confront your wife immediately? I paused, choosing my words. Because I needed to protect my daughter. A woman capable of attempting murder might do anything if cornered. Objection! Dana's lawyer was on his feet. That's speculation. Sustained. The jury will disregard. But they wouldn't, of course. The seed was planted. Cross-examination was brutal. Dana's lawyer, a shark named Marcus Webb, came at me hard. Dr. Chen, isn't it true you were rarely home? Working nights, extra shifts, leaving your wife alone to raise your daughter? I worked to provide for my family. But those long hours must have put a strain on your marriage, made your wife feel neglected, perhaps desperate for attention? Objection, Walsh called. Counsel is testifying. Sustained. Ask a question, Mr. Webb. Did your wife ever complain about your work schedule? Occasionally. Most spouses do. And yet you didn't reduce your hours? Didn't prioritize your family? I felt my jaw clench. I prioritized keeping a roof over their heads. By working constantly, leaving your wife lonely and vulnerable. By being a responsible provider, Dana's choices were her own. Webb smiled like I'd walked into a trap. So you take no responsibility for the state of your marriage? I take responsibility for trusting someone who was lying to me every day. Beyond that, no. You sound angry, Dr. Chen. I sound like a man whose wife tried to murder her lover and burn down our house. I think anger is appropriate. So you admit you're angry, vindictive perhaps. Eager to see your wife punished? I looked at Dana again. She was crying now, perfectly timed tears that would photograph well. I'm eager to see justice for Corey Hoffman, who's learning to walk again. I'm eager to see my daughter feel safe. If that's vindictive, then yes, I'm vindictive. Webb tried a few more angles, but I stuck to facts. Yes, I'd taken Kara out before confronting Dana. Yes, I'd moved assets before filing for divorce. Yes, I'd begun a friendship with another woman. Just a friendship? Webb's tone was snide. Yes, just a friendship. With someone who actually cares about my daughter's well-being. Unlike her mother set our house on fire while she was inside. Allegedly, on camera. Would you like me to describe the footage? How she checked the smoke detectors first to make sure they'd wake us? How she used accelerant in the kitchen? How she ran when the flames got too high? That's enough, Dr. Chen. Is it? Because I can also describe finding my 9-year-old daughter in tears, traumatized by her mother's actions. I can describe, that's enough. Webb turned to the judge. Permission to treat as hostile. Denied. The witness is answering your questions, counselor. Perhaps ask better ones. A ripple of laughter from the gallery. Dana's tears dried up instantly, replaced by that calculating look I knew too well. After testimony, I sat in my car in the parking garage, hands shaking. Catherine appeared at my window. That was perfect. You came across as righteously angry but controlled. The judge was clearly sympathetic. It didn't feel perfect. It felt like performing. All trials are performances. The question is whether yours was more believable than hers. She smiled. It was. Trust me. What happens now? Now we wait. The judge will decide if there's enough evidence for trial. Spoiler alert, there is. Then the real fun begins. This was the easy part? This was batting practice. The trial will be the World Series. But Bradley... She squeezed my shoulder. You're going to win. Dana made sure of that when she got greedy, got sloppy, got caught. I drove home if a temporary apartment could be home and found Holly and Kara baking cookies. The normalcy of it almost broke me. Dad! Kara ran over, flour in her hair. We're making snickerdoodles. My favorite. I know. Holly said you needed something good today. I caught Holly's eye over Kara's head. She'd changed from scrubs into jeans and one of my old t-shirts, looking like she belonged here. Like this was real, not another performance. Holly was right. I definitely need something good. Then you're in luck, Holly said. We made extra dough, cookie therapy for everyone. Later, after Kara was asleep and we'd eaten too many cookies, Holly and I sat on the balcony despite the Seattle drizzle. She'd brought out blankets and tea, creating a cozy bubble in the gray evening. How bad was it? She asked. Bad, but I survived. Catherine says I did well. Catherine's paid to say that. True. I sipped my tea, grateful for the warmth. Webb tried to paint me as negligent, said I drove Dana to desperation. Bullshit. That's what I said. More professionally. I doubt that, she smiled. You have a temper when it comes to protecting Kara. It's one of your better qualities. One of them? What are the others? Fishing for compliments, Dr. Chen? Maybe a little. It's been a rough day. She was quiet for a moment, then, "You're dedicated, loyal. You put others before yourself, sometimes to a fault. You're a wonderful father, a brilliant doctor." She paused. "And you make really good coffee." "That's quite a list." "I could go on, but your ego's healthy enough." We sat in comfortable silence, watching the city lights blur through the rain. These moments with Holly felt stolen somehow, like we were getting away with something. Maybe happiness wasn't allowed yet, not with Dana's trial looming and Kara still processing the trauma. "I should go," Holly said eventually. "Early shift tomorrow." "Stay." Bradley. On the couch, like always. I need to know you're here, that something in this mess is real." She studied my face, then nodded. "Okay, but I'm stealing your good pillow." "Deal." The call came at 3 a.m. Unknown number, but I answered anyway, doctor's instinct. "Brad?" Dana's voice, but wrong, slurred. "Brad, I need you." "Dana, where are you? You're supposed to be got out, posted bail." "Surprise!" She laughed, high and manic. "Had to see you. Had to explain." I was already up, pulling on clothes. "Dana, you're violating the restraining order. You need to— I'm at the house. Our house. What's left of it?" Another laugh. "Funny, right? Everything's gone, but I'm still here." "Dana, listen to me. You're sick. You need help. Tell me where you are exactly, and I'll send—" "No, no police. Just you. Come alone or I'll— "You'll what?" "I don't know. Something bad. Something final." Her voice dropped. "I have pills, Brad. Lots of pills. Thought I'd see you one more time before." "Before what?" "Dana, talk to me." But the line went dead. I stood there for a moment, phone in hand, weighing options. She was manipulating me, clearly. But if she hurt herself, if she actually had pills— Bradley? Holly stood in the doorway, rubbing her eyes. "What's wrong?" "Dana's out. She's at the old house, threatening suicide." "Call 911. She said no police. If they show up and she does something, then that's her choice." Holly was fully awake now. "You can't save her, Bradley. Not from herself." "I know, but nothing. She's manipulating you. Again." Holly took my phone, started dialing. "I'm calling Detective Morrison. He'll know how to handle this." She was right, of course. Dana had played this card before threats of self-harm whenever consequences loomed. But knowing it was manipulation didn't make it easier to ignore. Morrison answered on the second ring, alert despite the hour. Holly explained quickly, then handed me the phone. "Doc, where exactly did she say she was?" "The old house. What's left of it?" "I'm sending units now. Crisis negotiation team, too. You stay put, understand? Don't give her what she wants." "What if she—" "Then that's on her, not you. You've got a daughter to think about." He was right. They were all right. But I stood at the window anyway, watching the rain, wondering if this was how it ended. Not in a courtroom, but in the ashes of our old life. Dana choosing her own verdict. The sun was coming up when Morrison called back. "We found her, alive, empty pill bottle, but the hospital says she didn't take enough to do real damage, just enough for a good show." "Where is she now?" "Psych hold at Harborview. Her bail's revoked. Violating the restraining order was stupid even for her. She's not getting out again before trial." Relief and guilt warred in my chest. "Thanks for letting me know." "Doc, you did the right thing not going. Would have just given her more ammunition." After I hung up, I found Holly making coffee in the kitchen. She'd already showered, dressed for work, but waited to make sure I was okay. "She's alive," I said. "Psych hold. Good. Maybe now she'll get the help she needs." Holly handed me a mug. "You okay?" "I don't know. Part of me still sees the woman I married when I look at her, the mother of my child, the person I thought I'd grow old with. That's normal. Love doesn't just die because someone betrays you. It transforms, gets complicated, but it doesn't just vanish." Speaking from experience? My ex-husband nearly broke my jaw the night I left. I still remember how he looked holding our son for the first time. She shrugged. "Humans are complex. We can hold multiple truths at once." "Is that what we're doing? Holding multiple truths?" She moved closer, not quite touching. "What do you mean?" "This, us, whatever we are. Is it real or just proximity, trauma bonding, two broken people clinging to each other? Does it matter? If it helps us heal, if it makes Kara feel safe, if it gets us through the day, does it matter what we call it? It matters to me. Holly set down her mug, took my face in her hands. Bradley Chen, you brilliant, overthinking man, this is real. Messy and complicated and probably too fast, but real. I'm not here because you're broken. I'm here because even broken, you're worth it. You and Kara both. Holly, shut up and kiss me. So I did. Our first real kiss in my kitchen at dawn, with coffee cooling on the counter and sirens in the distance. It tasted like hope and promises, and maybe a future worth fighting for. When we broke apart, both breathing hard, Holly smiled. Okay? Better than okay? Good. Now I really do have to go to work. But tonight we talk, really talk. About us, about Kara, about what comes next. It's a date. Our first official one. She grabbed her bag, paused at the door. Bradley, Dana doesn't get to win. Not anymore. Remember that? Kara woke up an hour later, found me making pancakes badly. Dad, you're supposed to wait for the bubbles before flipping. Right. Bubbles. I salvaged what I could, produced a stack of oddly shaped but edible pancakes. Holly had to work early. I know. She left a note. Kara held up a piece of paper covered in Holly's neat handwriting. She says she'll bring pizza tonight and we can watch a movie. Can we? Sure, kiddo. And Dad? She drew a heart at the bottom. Does that mean she loves us? I looked at the note, at the small heart next to Holly's name. Such a simple symbol carrying so much weight. I think it means she cares about us a lot. Good. Because I care about her too. Is that okay? Even with Mom. It's more than okay. Hearts are big enough to care about lots of people. Kara nodded, satisfied, and attacked her pancakes. I watched her eat, this resilient little person who'd weathered more storms than any child should. Dana had tried to break us, but we were still here, still standing, still capable of love. That had to count for something. The trial date was set for 3 months out. 3 months to prepare, to steel ourselves, to pretend life was normal while the media circled like vultures. Catherine Price had been right about controlling the narrative, but she hadn't warned me how exhausting it would be. Dr. Chen, how do you feel about your wife's insanity plea? No comment. Is it true she serviced the deputy police chief? No comment. What have you told your daughter? That one almost made me turn, almost made me grab the reporter by his cheap tie, but Holly's hand on my arm kept me moving toward the car. They're parasites, she muttered once we were inside, feeding on misery. They're doing their job. Their job is disgusting. We were coming from Kara's school, where I'd had to meet with the principal about the situation. Apparently, some parents were concerned about Kara's influence on their children, as if having a criminal mother was contagious. The Millers are pulling Jessie from Kara's class, I said, navigating traffic. Said they can't have their daughter exposed to that kind of family. Bastards. Holly. Well, they are. Punishing a child for her mother's crimes? What kind of people do that? The kind who'd never had their perfect lives implode. The kind who thought scandal was something that happened to other people. The kind we used to be. Maybe we should consider moving, after the trial. Fresh start somewhere new. Holly was quiet for a moment. Running away doesn't solve anything. It's not running. It's protecting Kara. From what? Mean kids? Gossiping parents? Those exist everywhere, Bradley. She was right, but I couldn't shake the feeling that staying in Seattle meant Kara would always be that girl whose mom was a prostitute who tried to kill someone. The label would follow her through school, through college, through life. I just want her to have a chance at normal, I said. Normal's overrated. Trust me. That evening, we attended Kara's school play as promised. She was tree number 3 in a production of The Enchanted Forest that managed to be both charming and painful in the way only elementary school theater could be. There she is, Holly whispered, pointing to the cluster of trees stage left. Kara stood perfectly still, branches, cardboard covered in green paper, extended, completely serious about her role. When her one line came, "The forest keeps many secrets," She delivered it with such gravity that several parents chuckled. "She's perfect," I murmured. "Of course she is." But I noticed the empty seats around us, the parents who suddenly found other places to sit, the whispers that followed our arrival. Even here at a kids' play, we were marked. After the show, Kara bounded over, still in her tree costume. "Did you see? I didn't forget my line." "You were amazing, sweetheart." I hugged her, cardboard branches and all. "The best tree in the forest," Holly added. "Very mysterious." "That's what Miss Patterson said. She said I had stage presence." Kara beamed. "Can we get ice cream to celebrate?" "Absolutely." As we headed for the exit, Marissa Brennan intercepted us. PTA president, queen of the suburban jungle, and the kind of woman who smiled while sharpening knives. Bradley. Her smile was arctic. "How nice that you could make it. Wouldn't miss it." "No, I suppose you have more free time now. What with—" She waved vaguely, as if my life's implosion was too delicate to name. "What with his dedication to being a good father." Holly stepped forward, her own smile equally sharp. "Yes, it's amazing what priorities become clear during difficult times." Marissa's eyes narrowed. "I don't believe we've met. I'm Marissa Brennan." "Holly Nguyen. I'm the girlfriend. Yes, I've heard." Marissa's tone made it sound like a disease. How? Modern. Moving on so quickly. "We should go," I said. But Holly wasn't done. "You know what's modern? Women supporting each other through difficulties instead of tearing them down. But I suppose that's too much to ask from someone who gets their gossip from TMZ." "How dare!" "Ladies," I stepped between them. "Kara's waiting for ice cream." Marissa huffed off, but not before shooting one last venomous look. Holly watched her go, fists clenched. "I'm sorry," she said once we were in the car. "That was unprofessional." "That was amazing," Kara piped up from the back seat. "Did you see her face?" "Kara?" "What? Mrs. Brennan's mean. She told Jesse's mom that we were contaminated." "She what?" The word came out sharper than intended. "I heard her in the bathroom. She didn't know I was there." Kara's voice got smaller. "Am I contaminated, Dad?" I met her eyes in the rearview mirror. "No, baby. You're perfect. Some people are just small. They make themselves feel bigger by making others feel bad." "Like Mom did?" The question hit like a punch. "What do you mean?" "She used to say things. About you being boring, about wishing she'd married someone more exciting." Kara picked at her costume. "I think that's why she did those things. To feel bigger." Holly reached back, squeezed Kara's hand. "Your mom made bad choices, but that's about her, not you or your dad, okay?" "Okay." But I could see the wheels turning in her head, trying to make sense of adult cruelty with a child's logic. It broke my heart. At the ice cream shop, we ran into Corey. He was at a corner table, cane propped against his chair, working on what looked like a massive sundae. When he saw us, his face went through several expressions before settling on nervous. "Dr. Chen, I didn't expect—" "It's fine, Corey." I kept my voice neutral, aware of Kara watching. "How's the rehab going?" "Good. Better. I can walk without the cane for short distances now." He shifted awkwardly. "Look, I know this is weird, but thank you for saving my life, despite everything. I'm a doctor, it's what I do." "Right, but still. After what I did—" "This is Corey?" Kara interrupted, studying him with that unnerving intensity kids could muster. "The one Mom hurt?" Corey's face went pale. Yes. I'm sorry she did that. It wasn't nice." Kara said it matter-of-factly, like apologizing for a broken toy. "Thanks," Corey managed. "That means a lot. Are you better now?" "Getting there." "Good. Nobody should hurt people. That's what Dad says." She turned to me. "Can I get chocolate chip cookie dough?" "Sure, sweetheart. Holly, why don't you help her order?" Once they were at the counter, I sat across from Corey. Up close, I could see the scars, the way he held himself carefully, still protecting healing injuries. "I'm testifying," he said quietly. "At the trial. The prosecutor says my testimony is crucial." "I know. I loved her." The words came out rushed, like he'd been holding them back. "I know it was wrong, she was married, but I thought she loved me too." She was good at making people believe that. Was any of it real? With her? I thought about 13 years of marriage, of Kara's birth, of quiet Sunday mornings that had felt like everything. I don't know. Maybe. Does it matter? I guess not. He pushed his melting sundae around. I'm sorry, for my part in it. I knew she was married, knew about you and Kara. I was lonely, and she made me feel special. You were 23, Corey. She was a predator who targeted you. The power imbalance alone. Don't. He held up a hand. Please, let me own my part. I need to, for my own healing. I nodded, understanding that need. We all had to find our own way through the wreckage. For what it's worth, I said, standing, I'm glad you're okay. Really. Thanks. And Dr. Chen, your daughter's lucky to have you. Both of you, he added, glancing at Holly. On the drive home, Kara was quiet, processing the encounter. Finally, was that weird for you, Dad? Talking to him? A little, but sometimes weird is necessary. Like how it's weird that Holly lives with us now, but it's necessary because we love her? Holly made a choking sound from the passenger seat. I nearly drove off the road. Kara, what? It's true, isn't it? She sleeps on the couch, but her clothes are in your closet. She makes us breakfast and helps with homework and goes to my plays. Kara's logic was relentless. That's what people who love each other do. It's complicated, sweetheart. Adults always say that when they don't want to tell the truth. Kara's got a point, Holly said softly. I glanced at her, saw her own uncertainty mixed with hope. We'd been dancing around this for weeks, maintaining the fiction of just friends while building something that looked suspiciously like a family. You're right, I told Kara. Holly does live with us, and we do love her. Is that okay with you? Duh, I just said that. 9-year-old exasperation at its finest. Does this mean she can use your bedroom instead of pretending the couch is comfortable? Kara! What? My friend Emma's mom has a boyfriend and they share a room. It's not a big deal. Holly was trying very hard not to laugh. I was trying very hard not to crash the car. We'll discuss sleeping arrangements later, I managed. Okay, but the couch is bad for her back. She told me. I did not. You did. Tuesday morning. You were stretching and said the couch was ice cream's melting, Holly announced. Better eat it quick. Crisis averted, but Kara's matter-of-fact acceptance had shattered our careful barriers. She was right, of course. We were already a family in every way that mattered. The only people we were fooling were ourselves. That night, after Kara was asleep, Holly and I sat on the couch, that apparently uncomfortable couch, and finally had the talk we'd been avoiding. So, I said. So, she echoed. My daughter just outed our relationship. Pretty sure we didn't have a relationship to out, officially. No? You haven't asked me on a real date. Haven't kissed me since that morning in the kitchen. I kissed her. Properly this time, not desperate and clinging, but slow and sure. When we broke apart, she was smiling. That's better, she murmured. Holly Nguyen, will you go on a date with me? When? Now? It's 10 p.m. So? Seattle's still awake. We could get coffee, walk the waterfront, talk about something other than trials and trauma. She studied me. What about Kara? Baby monitor app on my phone. She hasn't woken up at night in months. This is crazy. Good crazy or bad crazy? Good, definitely good. She stood, pulled me up. But I'm changing first. Can't have our first official date with me in yoga pants. I like your yoga pants. Bradley Chen, are you flirting with me? Trying to. I'm probably rusty. You're doing fine. She kissed my cheek. 10 minutes. And yes, I'm using your closet. Cat's out of the bag anyway. 20 minutes later, because Holly's concept of time was optimistic, we were walking along the waterfront, coffee in hand like normal people on a normal date. Tell me something I don't know about you, Holly said. I played violin until college, was actually pretty good. Why'd you stop? Med school. No time for anything but studying and survival. I sipped my coffee. Your turn. I write poetry, terrible poetry. The kind that would make you cringe. I don't believe it's terrible. Oh, it is. Lots of angst and metaphors about storms. She laughed. I have notebooks full of it. Will you share some with me someday? Maybe, when you're drunk enough not to remember. We walked in comfortable silence, the sound lapping against the piers. The city felt different at night, softer somehow. Or maybe that was just being with Holly, away from the constant pressure of legal proceedings and public judgment. "Can I ask you something?" she said eventually. "Anything. What happens after the trial? Win or lose? What's next?" I'd been avoiding that question for weeks. "I don't know. Jennifer says the divorce will be final before the criminal trial ends. Insurance should settle on the house soon. We could go anywhere, do anything." "Is that what you want? To leave?" "I want Kara to be happy, to feel safe. Beyond that." I shrugged. "I've been in survival mode so long. I've forgotten how to want things for myself." "What about us? What about us?" "Bradley." She stopped walking, faced me. "I need to know if this is real or just convenience. If I'm a life raft in your storm or something more." "You're everything," I said without hesitation. "You're the reason I can get up each morning, the reason Kara smiles again, the reason I believe maybe life after Dana could be worth living." "That's a lot of pressure." "Is it too much?" She considered this. "No, because you're the same for me. After my ex, I thought I'd never trust again, never want to build something with someone. But here we are." "Here we are," I agreed. "Holly, I can't promise easy. The trial's going to be brutal. The media won't let up. Dana will probably find new ways to torture us from prison. I'm not asking for easy. I'm asking for honest. Then honestly, I'm falling in love with you. Have been for weeks. And it terrifies me because the last person I loved turned out to be a monster. But you're not her. You're kind and genuine, and you make Kara laugh and you fit into our life like you were always meant to be there." "Bradley, I know it's too fast. I know we should wait until after everything settles. But Kara's right, adults make things complicated when the truth is simple. I love you. You love us. Everything else is just details." Holly set her coffee on a nearby bench, took my face in her hands. "You beautiful, complicated man. I love you too. Despite the mess, because of the mess, through the mess, all of it." This kiss was different. Not desperate or questioning, but certain. A promise. A beginning. When we broke apart, an elderly couple was applauding from a nearby bench. "About time!" the woman called out. "We've been watching you dance around each other for blocks." Holly buried her face in my chest, laughing. I wrapped my arms around her, feeling lighter than I had in months. "So," she said against my shirt, "about those sleeping arrangements. I have a very comfortable bed. King-sized. Excellent for bad backs. How thoughtful of you. I'm a doctor. I take these things seriously." She pulled back, grinning. "Take me home, Dr. Chen. Best medical advice I've heard all day." We made it back to find Kara in the living room, rubbing sleepy eyes. "You went out," she accused. "Just for coffee," I said. "What are you doing up?" "Nightmare, about the fire." She looked between us, took in our joined hands. "Did you have a good date?" "Very good," Holly said. "Good. Does this mean you'll use Dad's room now?" "If that's okay with you." Kara considered this gravely. "Will you still make special eggs for breakfast?" "Of course. Then it's okay." She yawned. "Can I sleep in your bed tonight? Just until the nightmare goes away?" I scooped her up, this resilient child who'd adapted to so much change. "Of course, baby." As I carried her to our room, Holly following, I thought about families, how they broke, how they mended, how sometimes they reformed in unexpected ways. Dana had shattered our traditional family, but from those pieces, something new was emerging, something that included a little girl with nightmares, a woman who wrote bad poetry, and a man learning to trust again. It wasn't the family I'd planned, but maybe that was okay. The best things in life rarely went according to plan. In bed, Kara between us, Holly reached over and took my hand. "No regrets," she whispered. "None." "You?" "Only that it took us so long." Kara mumbled something in her sleep, burrowed deeper into the pillows. "Safe, protected, loved. Worth the wait," I said. "Yeah," Holly agreed. "It was." Outside, Seattle hummed with its usual nighttime symphony, but inside our small apartment, everything was quiet, peaceful, right. The trial still loomed. Dana's final attempts at destruction still waited. The media circus would continue its performance, but for tonight we were just a family. Unconventional, unexpected, but undeniably real. And that was enough. 3 weeks before the trial, Corey Hoffman tried to kill himself. The call came at 6 a.m. Amy, his friend from the gym, hysterical on the other end. He took pills. A lot of pills. They don't know if her voice broke. He left a note. Said he couldn't face testifying, couldn't relive it all in court. I sat up in bed, Holly stirring beside me. Where is he? Harborview, ICU. Dr. Chen, if he dies, he won't die. I'll be there in 20 minutes. The trial. Fuck the trial. I'll be there. Holly was already up, pulling on scrubs. I'm coming with you. You don't have to. Bradley, stop. We're partners. Your crises are my crises. She touched my face. Besides, I'm better with overdoses than you are. True. Emergency medicine had many specialties, and Holly had trained in toxicology before switching to trauma. What about Kara? I'll call Mrs. Kim next door. She's up early anyway. 15 minutes later, we were badging into Harborview. The ICU was controlled chaos. Corey must have taken something serious to warrant this level of response. GSW coming in, a nurse called out. Trauma 2 is ready. That's not, I started, then saw him. Corey, unconscious, tubes everywhere. The monitors showed unstable vitals, the kind that preceded coding. What did he take? Holly was already assessing, professional mode engaged. Bottle of oxycodone, probably some benzos. His roommate found him around 4 a.m. Get me naloxone, high dose, and flumazenil on standby. Holly glanced at me. You okay? Yeah. Yes. What can I do? Keep Amy calm. I've got this. I found Amy in the waiting room, still in workout clothes, mascara streaked down her face. Is he? Holly's with him. She's the best. This is my fault. Amy collapsed into a chair. He's been struggling. The nightmares, the panic attacks. But he said he was ready to testify, that he needed to for closure. This isn't your fault, or his. I sat beside her. Trauma doesn't follow logical patterns. Your wife did this. Even from jail, she's still destroying him. Dana didn't put those pills in his hand. No, but she put him in the hospital. She took a sweet, kind kid and broke him. Amy looked at me with red-rimmed eyes. How do you stand it? Knowing what she did? By focusing on what I can control, protecting my daughter. Building something better. I thought of Holly in there, fighting for Corey's life, by not letting her win. Is that what this would be? If Corey dies, her winning? No, it would be a tragedy. Another life lost to her selfishness. But winning? That's what we do next. How we choose to survive. 2 hours later, Holly emerged, exhausted but smiling. He's stable. It was close another hour and we'd have lost him, but he's going to make it. Amy sobbed with relief. I felt my own knees go weak. Can we see him? He's still unconscious. Will be for a while, but... Holly glanced between us. Maybe hearing familiar voices would help. Corey looked small in the hospital bed, younger than his 24 years. The machines keeping him stable beeped steadily, a mechanical lullaby. Hey, kid, I said quietly. You scared us. No response, but his eyes moved beneath closed lids. REM sleep or dreams, hopefully peaceful ones. The trial starts in 3 weeks, I continued. I know you're scared. Hell, I'm scared. But we need you. Not just for testimony, we need you to survive this. To show her she didn't break you. Still nothing. But Amy took over, talking about the gym, about clients asking for him, about life waiting when he woke up. We tag-teamed for an hour, filling the silence with reasons to live. Dr. Chen? A familiar voice from the doorway. Ada Walsh, looking haggard. I heard about Mr. Hoffman. News travels fast. When your star witness tries to kill himself? Yeah, it does. She softened. How is he? Alive. That's what matters. For him, yes. For the case, she trailed off. Without his testimony, proving attempted murder gets harder. Dana's lawyer is already filing motions. Are you serious right now? He's fighting for his life and you're worried about my job? Yes, Because if Dana walks on the attempted murder charge, she'll be out in 5 years instead of 20. Is that what you want? What I want is for people to stop treating Corey like evidence instead of a person. Holly appeared, placing a calming hand on my arm. What's happening? The ADA is concerned about her case. I'm concerned about justice, Walsh corrected. For Corey, for you, for everyone Dana hurt. That requires his testimony. Then you better hope he wakes up wanting to give it, Holly said coolly. Because right now he needs healing, not pressure. Walsh left with promises to reassess, which probably meant finding ways to compel testimony. The legal system grinding on, indifferent to human damage. We stayed until Corey woke up that afternoon. His eyes focused slowly, confused, then panicked. Hey, easy. Holly checked his vitals. You're safe. You're in the hospital. I couldn't. His voice was raw from intubation. We know, I said. It's okay. You're okay. The trial. I can't. You don't have to do anything you're not ready for, Amy said firmly. Fuck the trial. But Corey was shaking his head. No, that's what she wants. For me to disappear, stay quiet. He looked at me. I'll testify. Not for them. For me. You sure? No, but I'll do it anyway. A ghost of a smile. Maybe that's what courage is. Being scared shitless but showing up anyway. That's exactly what courage is, Holly said. The next 3 weeks passed in a blur of preparation. Catherine Price coached me on testimony, appearance, demeanor. Jennifer Martinez finalized the divorce Dana signed from her cell, probably hoping cooperation would help at sentencing. The media coverage intensified. Someone leaked the client list, and suddenly Seattle's elite were scrambling. The deputy police chief resigned. 2 city councilmen were under investigation. A prominent judge took early retirement. At least they're focusing on them now, Holly said, scanning the headlines. Takes heat off us. Until the trial starts. Then we deal with it. Together. Together. The word that had redefined everything. Holly had officially moved in goodbye uncomfortable couch. We'd established routines that felt both new and eternal. She helped Kara with homework while I cooked. I handled bedtime while she prepped for the next day. We traded off based on shifts, moods, needs. It worked. Dad? Kara appeared in the doorway. Can I ask something? Always. When Mom goes to prison, will she be there forever? I set down the paper, gave her my full attention. Not forever, but a long time. How long? We don't know yet. That's what the trial will decide. Oh. She fidgeted with her pajama top. Will I have to see her? Not unless you want to. I don't. Is that bad? No, sweetheart. You get to choose who's in your life. That's not bad, that's healthy. Holly says boundaries are important. Holly's right. She usually is. Kara smiled. That's why we keep her around. Among other reasons. Like her eggs? Exactly like her eggs. Kara giggled, then grew serious again. Dad, are you scared about the trial? A little. Are you? Yeah. But Holly says being scared just means something matters. And this matters, right? Making sure Mom can't hurt anyone else? It matters very much. Then being scared is okay. She hugged me. Night, Dad. Night, baby. Sweet dreams. The night before the trial, I couldn't sleep. Holly found me on the balcony at 3 a.m., staring at the city lights. Big day tomorrow, she said, wrapping a blanket around us both. The beginning of the end, or the end of the beginning. I can't decide which. Both, maybe. She leaned into me. You ready? No. You? Not even close. She laughed softly. But we'll do it anyway. For Kara, for Corey, for everyone she hurt. For us, I added. Especially for us. We stayed there until dawn, watching Seattle wake up, the city that had witnessed our destruction and reconstruction, the city where Dana had built her house of lies and where we'd built something true from the wreckage. Whatever happens, Holly said as the sun painted the sound gold, we've already won. We survived. We found each other. We're happy. That's the real victory. She was right. Dana had tried to destroy everything, but instead had cleared the way for something better. Tomorrow would bring pain, reliving trauma in sterile legal terms, but after that, life. Real, messy, beautiful life. I love you, I told Holly. I love you too. She kissed me as the city came alive below. Now let's go make breakfast. Big day needs good eggs. Special eggs? The most special eggs. She pulled me inside. Kara's going to need all the protein she can get to sit through opening statements. You researched trial procedure? Of course I did. Know thy enemy. She started pulling ingredients from the fridge. Also bought crossword puzzles, coloring books, and snacks. We're going to be the most prepared courtroom observers ever. Have I mentioned I love you? Not in the last 5 minutes. You're slipping. I wrapped my arms around her from behind as she cracked eggs. I love you. Better. Now let me cook. You're on coffee duty. This normalcy in the face of chaos. This partnership built on small moments and shared purpose. This was what Dana had never understood, that love wasn't grand gestures or wild passion, but showing up every day for the mundane miracles of life together. Bradley, you're wool gathering. Just thinking. Well, think while making coffee. Kara will be up soon, and we have a very important tree to get ready for her very important day. Right. Because even facing her mother's trial, Kara's biggest concern was what to wear. Kids were resilient that way, finding normal in the strangest circumstances. By 7 a.m., we were dressed and ready. Kara in her favorite dress blue with stars and Holly in a professional suit that made her look like she could take on the world. I wore the charcoal suit Catherine had approved, feeling like armor. Everyone ready? I asked. Ready, Kara said, chin up. Ready, Holly echoed, taking my hand. Ready or not, it was time. Time to face Dana one last time. Time to tell our truth. Time to end this chapter and begin the next. Together. The courthouse steps were a media gauntlet. Despite Catherine's preparation, the wall of cameras and shouting reporters made my chest tight. Dr. Chen, how does it feel to face your wife? Kara, are you scared to see Mommy? That last one nearly broke my control. Holly's grip on my hand tightened, warning. Catherine appeared like magic, creating a path. No comment. Move aside, please. Inside was barely better. The halls teemed with curiosity seekers, Dana's other victims, and enough lawyers to populate a small country. I recognized faces from the leaked client list, powerful men looking diminished, their careers imploding in real time. Daddy, why are all these people here? Kara whispered. They're interested in the trial. Because of Mom? Yeah, baby, because of Mom. Oh, she processed this. That's weird. From the mouths of babes. Courtroom 4B was smaller than expected, wood-paneled and windowless. We took seats behind the prosecution. ADA Walsh nodded grimly. Across the aisle, Dana's family had gathered, her parents looking aged and hollow. A sister I'd met twice in 13 years. They avoided eye contact. Then the side door opened, and there she was. Prison had not been kind to Dana. The orange jumpsuit hung loose on her diminished frame. The burns had healed into a network of scars that makeup couldn't hide. But it was her eyes that had changed most, the calculating intelligence replaced by something flat, desperate. She saw us immediately. Saw Kara pressed against my side, Holly's protective arm around her. Something flashed across her face, rage, regret, before her lawyer whispered urgently and she faced forward. All rise for the Honorable Judge Patricia Yamamoto. Judge Yamamoto looked like she'd rather be anywhere else. Can't blame her, this case had become a circus, complete with sex, lies, and attempted murder. Let's be clear, she said after we sat. This is a court of law, not entertainment. I will have order. Her gaze swept the gallery. Any disruptions will result in immediate removal. Any attempts to photograph or record will result in contempt charges. Are we understood? Murmured agreement. Good. Miss Walsh, your opening statement. Christine Walsh stood, transformed from the harried woman at the hospital to an avenging angel in a power suit. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this case is about choices. The defendant, Dana Chen, made choice after choice that destroyed lives. She chose to prostitute herself while married. She chose to lie to her husband, her daughter, her lovers. And when one of those lovers threatened to expose her, she chose attempted murder. Walsh outlined the case methodically. The timeline of Dana's deception. The financial evidence. Corey's testimony he was waiting outside, ready despite everything. The arson. The child endangerment. The defense will try to paint Mrs. Chen as a victim, a woman driven to desperate measures by a neglectful husband, by mental illness, by circumstances beyond her control. Walsh's voice hardened. Don't be fooled. Every action was calculated, every lie deliberate, every crime a choice. She showed photos then. Corey in the hospital, machines keeping him alive, our burned house, Kara's bedroom, smoke-damaged and destroyed. Beside me, Kara buried her face in Holly's shoulder. I wanted to take her out, spare her this, but Catherine had been clear leaving would look like we had something to hide. The evidence will show that Dana Chen is a master manipulator who would rather kill than face consequences. Hold her accountable, find her guilty, give her victims the justice they deserve. Walsh sat. The courtroom held its breath. Mr. Webb? Marcus Webb stood slowly, like a man approaching a difficult surgery. He'd drawn the short straw defending Dana, but he'd give it his best shot. Ladies and gentlemen, I won't insult your intelligence by claiming my client is innocent. She's not. She made terrible choices, hurt people she loved, committed crimes she deeply regrets. Interesting angle. Admit the obvious. Hope for mercy. But Dana Chen is not a monster. She's a woman who lost herself. A nurse who spent years caring for others while her own life crumbled. A mother who loved too hard and broke under the pressure. Objection, Walsh called. Counsel is testifying. Sustained. Stick to the facts, Mr. Webb. Of course. Webb smoothed his tie. The facts will show that Dana Chen suffered a complete psychological break. That years of emotional neglect, financial pressure, and undiagnosed mental illness created a perfect storm. That while her actions were wrong, they were the product of disease, not evil. He turned to the jury, going for broke. We don't dispute the affairs. We don't dispute the fire, but we do dispute intent. A woman in psychological crisis cannot form the intent necessary for attempted murder. She needs help, not decades in prison. Unless that help comes at the expense of justice, Walsh muttered, loud enough for the jury to hear. Objection. Sustained. Miss Walsh, you'll have your chance on rebuttal. The first witness was Detective Morrison. He laid out the investigation chronologically, professionally, just facts, no emotion. But facts were damning enough. The pattern of injuries suggested deliberate vehicular assault. The victim was struck head-on at approximately 45 miles per hour. No brake marks were found. What about the defendant's vehicle? Walsh asked. Front-end damage consistent with hitting a pedestrian. Repairs were made the following day at a shop in Tacoma. Did the shop owner remember Mrs. Chen? Yes. Said she paid cash, seemed nervous. Asked specifically that no insurance claim be filed. Webb tried to shake him on cross, suggesting shoddy police work, rushing to judgment. Morrison remained unflappable. We followed the evidence, counselor. It led to your client. Or you made the evidence fit your theory. The evidence speaks for itself. Next came the financial forensics expert. Charts and graphs showing money flow, client appointments, the secret life Dana had built. 37 confirmed clients. Over $200,000 in unreported income. This wasn't desperation, the expert concluded. This was a business. Organized, profitable, and hidden. During the lunch break, we huddled in a conference room Catherine had reserved. Kara picked at a sandwich, unusually quiet. You okay, sweetheart? Did Mom really do all those things? With all those men? Christ. How did you explain prostitution to a 9-year-old? She made bad choices, Holly said carefully. Adult choices that hurt people. But why? We don't know, baby. Sometimes people do things that don't make sense. Is that why she hurt Corey? Because he was going to tell? That's what we're here to find out, I said. I already know. Kara's voice was small but certain. Mom doesn't like when people say no to her. Remember when Mrs. Patterson wouldn't let her run the school fundraiser? Mom was mean for weeks. Out of the mouths of babes, indeed. The afternoon brought more witnesses. The shop owner who'd fixed Dana's car. Amy, describing Corey's fear in the days before the attack. A parade of evidence, each piece building the wall higher. Then, just before recess, Walsh called her ace. The prosecution calls Corey Hoffman. The gallery stirred as Corey entered. He walked carefully, still favoring his left side, but his head was high. He looked at Dana once, then away. "Mr. Hoffman, can you describe your relationship with the defendant?" Corey's voice started shaky but gained strength. He told it all: the seduction, the lies, the growing realization that he was one of many. His decision to end things. She wouldn't accept it. Called constantly, showed up at my apartment, my work. Said if I left her, she'd destroy me. What happened the night of October 15th? I was walking home from the gym. I'd finally told her I'd go to the police if she didn't leave me alone. He paused, swallowed. I saw headlights accelerate toward me. No time to jump clear. Next thing I knew, I was in the hospital. Did you see the driver? Not clearly, but I saw the car. Dark blue Honda Accord, like Dana's. Walsh showed photos of Corey's injuries. The gallery gasped even in clinical photographs. The damage was horrific. "Mr. Hoffman, how has this affected your life?" "I'll never walk normally again. I have nightmares, panic attacks." His voice cracked. "I tried to kill myself rather than relive this in court. But I'm here because what she did was wrong, and someone needs to say it." Webb's cross-examination was gentle. Even he knew attacking a victim would backfire. "You were in love with Mrs. Chen?" "I thought I was." "And when she wouldn't let you go, you felt trapped?" "Yes." "Angry?" "Yes." "Angry enough to lie about what happened?" "Objection!" Walsh was on her feet, withdrawn. Webb smiled slightly. No further questions. But the damage was done. That seed of doubt, carefully planted. Court adjourned with Corey still on the stand. Tomorrow, redirect and then the defense's case. As we filed out, Dana caught my eye, mouthed something I wouldn't interpret. "Don't look at her," Holly murmured. "She's trying to get in your head." Too late. She's been in my head for 13 years. Then it's time for an eviction. That evening we debriefed at home. Kara was quiet through dinner, processing the day. Finally, "I don't want to go tomorrow." "You don't have to," I said immediately. "Mrs. Kim can—" "No, I do want to go, but I don't. Does that make sense?" "Perfect sense," Holly said. "Sometimes we do hard things because they're important, not because they're easy." "Will Mom try to talk to me?" "No, she's not allowed." "Good." Kara pushed peas around her plate. I wouldn't know what to say. Neither would I thought. What did you say to someone who'd burned down your life, then tried to pretend it was love? "Can we watch a movie?" Kara asked. "Something happy?" "Of course." We ended up with some animated thing about singing animals. Kara fell asleep halfway through, head on Holly's lap, feet in mine. Normal, peaceful, everything Dana had tried to steal. "She looked bad today," Holly said quietly. "Yeah. Feel sorry for her?" "No. Maybe. I don't know." I stroked Kara's hair. "I feel sorry for who she used to be, or who I thought she was. But the woman in that courtroom, she's a stranger." "Good. Remember that tomorrow when she testifies." "You think she will?" "Oh yeah, Dana can't resist a stage." Holly's smile was grim. "Just remember whatever she says, however she spins it, she chose this. Every step." In bed, unable to sleep, I stared at the ceiling and thought about choices, all the small decisions that led to catastrophe. If I'd worked less, if I'd seen the signs, if. "Stop," Holly said in the darkness. "Stop what?" "Blaming yourself. I can hear you thinking. How? Because I know you. And because I did the same thing for years, picked apart every moment looking for where I went wrong." She rolled over, faced me. "But here's the truth: we didn't make them cheat. Didn't make them lie. Didn't make them choose destruction over honesty." "I know." "Do you? Really?" I thought about it. Really examined the guilt I'd been carrying. Getting there. "Good. Because tomorrow she's going to try to make this your fault. Don't let her." "How do you know?" "Because it's what abusers do. Deflect, project, blame everyone but themselves." She kissed me softly. "Just remember who you're fighting for. Not against Dana, for Kara, for our future, for the life she tried to steal. For us, especially for us." I pulled her close, breathed in the scent of her shampoo. Tomorrow would bring more pain, more public dissection of private wounds. But tonight, I had this. Love built on truth instead of lies. A future worth protecting. Holly? Thank you for everything. Thank you back. She yawned. Now sleep. Big day tomorrow needs good rest. Special rest? The most special rest. I smiled in the darkness. Even facing tomorrow's storm, joy was possible. Dana had taught me about betrayal, but Holly was teaching me about redemption, about building something unshakable from broken pieces. Tomorrow, Dana would take the stand. Tomorrow, she'd spin her web one last time. But tonight, surrounded by love she'd never understand, I was already free. Dana's testimony day arrived with thunderstorms, as if the weather itself knew what was coming. I sat between Holly and Catherine, watching my ex-wife take the stand. She'd dressed carefully conservative suit, minimal makeup covering the worst scars, hair pulled back severely, playing the penitent. State your name for the record. Dana Marie Chen. Her voice was smaller than I remembered, carefully modulated to project vulnerability. Mrs. Chen, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. The lie came so easily. Even now, facing prison, she couldn't help herself. Webb approached his client like a handler with a dangerous animal, careful, deliberate. Dana, I know this is difficult, but we need to understand what led to these events. Can you tell us about your marriage? She dabbed at her eyes with a tissue. Bradley and I met during residency. He was brilliant, dedicated. I fell in love with his passion for medicine. How were the early years? Wonderful. We were building a life together. Then Kara came along and everything felt perfect. What changed? Bradley's ambition. He wanted to be chief of emergency medicine, took every extra shift, every difficult case. I supported him, of course, but I became invisible. Just the woman who kept his house, raised his child, waited for him to notice us. Her voice cracked perfectly. Do you know what it's like to be married to someone who's never really there? I felt Holly's hand on my arm, grounding me. This was Dana's gift, taking truth and twisting it just enough to make herself the victim. How did the affairs begin? Webb asked gently. They weren't affairs, not at first. Just attention. Someone seeing me as more than Bradley's wife or Kara's mother. She looked at the jury, making eye contact. I was lonely. That doesn't excuse what I did, but maybe it explains it. Tell us about Corey Hoffman. Corey was different. Young, yes, but he listened. He made me feel alive again. Tears now, seemingly genuine. I knew it was wrong. I tried to end it several times. What happened when you did? He wouldn't accept it. Said he loved me. That age didn't matter. He became obsessive. Objection. Walsh was on her feet. The victim isn't on trial here. Sustained. Rephrase, Mr. Webb. How did the relationship deteriorate? Corey wanted more than I could give. He talked about us running away together, starting fresh. When I explained that was impossible, he became angry. Said if he couldn't have me, he'd make sure Bradley knew everything. How did that make you feel? Terrified. Not for myself, I deserved whatever came. But Kara. The thought of her finding out, being humiliated at school, losing her innocence. Dana's voice broke. I wasn't thinking clearly. The stress, the fear, the shame, it all crashed together. What happened the night of October 15th? I don't remember, not clearly. I'd been drinking, taking pills for anxiety. Corey had called 20 times, each message more threatening. I remember getting in my car, thinking I'd talk to him one more time. The next thing I knew, I was at a body shop in Tacoma crying. You don't remember hitting him? No, but I must have. The damage to my car. God, what kind of person does that and doesn't even remember? It was masterful, really. Admitting just enough to seem honest while painting herself as a woman driven to madness by circumstances. The jury was listening intently, some with sympathy creeping into their expressions. Webb continued through the timeline, the fire, the arrest, her suicide attempt, each event reframed as the desperate acts of a woman in psychological crisis rather than calculated crimes. Dana, what do you want the jury to know? She turned to them, scarred face wet with tears. That, I'm sorry. That I never meant for any of this to happen. That mental illness is real, and without help it can make you do terrible things. She looked at me then. And that I loved my family, even when I was destroying it. Bradley, Kara, they deserved better than what I became. No further questions. Judge Yamamoto called for a recess. As Dana was led past our row, she paused, caught my eye. For a moment, the mask slipped. The calculating intelligence flashed through before the victim's facade returned. She was good. But was she good enough? That was rough, Holly said during the break. We'd found a quiet corner away from the media circus. She's selling it hard. The jury's buying some of it. Some, not all. Catherine joined us, looking unruffled. I've seen this before. The sympathy play works until cross-examination. Walsh will shred her. What if she doesn't? Then we rely on evidence. Corey's testimony was powerful. The financial records don't lie, and Dana just admitted to the hitandrun, even if she's claiming amnesia. Convenient amnesia, I muttered. Juries aren't stupid, Catherine said. They can smell manipulation. Trust the process. Kara appeared with Jennifer, who'd been watching her in another room. Dad? Was Mom crying for real? I knelt to her level. What do you think? I think she cries when she wants something. Like when you wouldn't buy her that expensive purse, and she cried about how hard she worked and how she never got nice things. When was this? Last year, before, everything. She didn't know I was listening. Kara's face was serious beyond her years. She's good at pretending, isn't she? Yeah, baby, she is. Is that why you didn't know about the bad stuff? The question gutted me. Partly, also because I wasn't paying enough attention. Holly pays attention, Kara said simply. She notices everything, like when I'm sad even if I'm smiling. Out of the mouths of babes. Walsh's cross-examination was surgical. She started soft, almost sympathetic. Mrs. Chen, you've painted a picture of a lonely, neglected wife. Let's examine that. How many hours per week did your husband work? 60, sometimes 70. And his salary? Around 300,000. Did you work? Part-time, 3 days a week. By choice? Bradley said, did you choose to work part-time, yes or no? Yes. So you had 4 days a week free while your daughter was in school? I had responsibilities. 4 days a week free, Walsh repeated. Did your husband ever prevent you from working more? No. Ever prevent you from seeing friends, joining clubs, pursuing hobbies? No, but so your loneliness was despite having time, money, and freedom? Dana's mask started slipping. You don't understand. Help me understand. You had a successful husband who provided well, a healthy daughter, a beautiful home, freedom to pursue your interests. Where exactly was the neglect? Emotional neglect, Dana snapped. He was never present, never really there. Never there for the 37 men you slept with for money? Objection. Withdrawn. Walsh smiled coldly. Let's talk about the financial records. Exhibit 47B shows deposits totaling $200,000 over 2 years. Was your husband aware of this income? No. Did you report it on taxes? No. So you committed tax fraud? Yes. While telling your husband you needed more money for household expenses. Dana was unraveling. The careful victim narrative couldn't withstand facts. Let's discuss October 15th. You claim amnesia, yet you drove directly to a specific body shop 30 miles away. How did you manage that while blacked out? I must have been on autopilot. Autopilot that included paying cash and specifically requesting no insurance involvement. I don't remember, just like you don't remember threatening Corey in dozens of texts. Exhibit 23C. If you tell Bradley, I'll destroy you. Your words? I was upset. Exhibit 23D. I know where you live, where you work. Accidents happen. Still upset? He was threatening me. With the truth? It went on for 2 hours. Walsh methodically destroyed every excuse, every rationalization. By the end, Dana wasn't crying anymore. She sat rigid, that familiar calculating look returning. One final question, Mrs. Chen. You claim you loved your family even while destroying it. If that's true, why did you set fire to your home while your daughter was inside? I checked her room. You checked her room. So you were thinking clearly enough to verify your daughter's location before committing arson? Yes. Clear-headed enough to check on your child, but claim amnesia about vehicular assault. Clear-headed enough to plan arson, but claim mental illness made you do it. Which is it, Mrs. Chen? Are you a calculating criminal or a victim of circumstances? I'm sick. I need help, not prison. What you need, Mrs. Chen, is to take responsibility. No further questions. Dana left the stand diminished, her victim narrative in tatters. The jury watched her go with expressions that had shifted from sympathy to skepticism. Told you, Catherine murmured. Walsh just earned her reputation. The defense rested after calling a psychologist who testified about stress-induced breakdown. Walsh countered with her own expert who explained that mental illness didn't negate criminal intent, especially given the planning involved in Dana's crimes. Closing arguments were tomorrow. Tonight we tried for normalcy. Can we have tacos? Kara asked as we headed home. Holly's special tacos? I think we can manage that, Holly said, though they're just regular tacos. Nothing about you is regular, I said without thinking. Kara made gagging noises. Gross, Dad. What? I meant her cooking. Sure you did? But Kara was smiling. These moments of lightness had become more frequent, little islands of joy in the sea of legal proceedings. At home, while Holly and Kara tackled dinner, I sat on the balcony despite the lingering rain. My phone rang Corey. How'd it go? His voice was stronger than during his testimony. She tried playing victim. Walsh destroyed her. Good. That's good. A pause. I wanted to thank you for saving my life. Twice, really in the ER and by believing me. You saved yourself by collecting that evidence. Still, you could have buried it, protected her. Other guys might have. Other guys didn't take an oath to do no harm. Is that what this is? Medical ethics? I thought about it. Partly. Also just rightness. She hurt people. That has to matter. Yeah, he sighed. I'm starting therapy next week. Real therapy, not just physical rehab. Good. That's good, Corey. Dr. Chen, do you think people can change? Really change? I looked through the glass doors at Holly and Kara dancing to something on the radio while cooking, at the life we'd built from ashes. Yeah, I said. I do. But they have to want it, and work for it, and choose it every single day. I want to be better, smarter about relationships, not so desperate for attention that I ignore red flags. That's a good start. Thanks for everything. I mean it. After he hung up, I sat in the drizzle thinking about change. Dana claimed she'd changed, but her courtroom performance proved otherwise. Still manipulating, still refusing accountability. Prison wouldn't fix that kind of broken. But Corey might make it. He had insight, remorse, determination, the things required for real transformation. Dad! Tacos! I headed inside to my real life. Tomorrow would bring closing arguments, then jury deliberation. But tonight was for family, for Holly's special not special tacos, for helping with homework and arguing about bedtime, for all the ordinary moments Dana had tried to steal. That night, I found Holly on the couch grading papers she'd started teaching clinical skills at the university. Almost done? Last one. She made a final note, set the stack aside. How are you holding up? Better than expected. Seeing her on the stand, hearing her lies, it felt like closure, like finally seeing behind the mask completely. She really believed she'd sell that victim story. Narcissists always do. They rewrite history until they believe their own fiction. I pulled her close. Thank you for being there today. I know it wasn't easy. Easier than what you went through. She traced patterns on my chest. I wanted to throw something when she talked about being ignored. You work yourself to death providing for your family, and that makes you the villain? I wasn't perfect. Did work too much. Stop. She sat up, faced me. Working hard doesn't justify affairs. Being lonely doesn't justify attempted murder. There's no equivalency here. I know. Old habits. Well, develop new ones. Like recognizing that you're a good man who got betrayed by someone incapable of real love. I have real love now. Damn right you do. She kissed me, then settled back against my chest. Think the jury will convict? Catherine seems confident. Walsh was brilliant today. Good. I want this over. Want to stop looking over our shoulders, stop dealing with lawyers and reporters? What do you want to do when it's done? Take a vacation, somewhere with beaches and drinks with umbrellas, where Kara can just be a kid and we can just be us. That sounds perfect. Then maybe. She hesitated. Maybe? Maybe talk about that baby. Kara asked again yesterday if she'd ever have a sibling. My heart skipped. And you want that? I want everything with you. Marriage, babies, growing old together, the whole package. She looked up at me. Too much? Not enough. I want all that too. Even with everything that's happened, you'd trust love again? I trust our love, what we've built, how we show up for each other. I touched her face. You're nothing like her, Holly. You're honest and kind and real. You make me want to be better. You make me feel safe, she whispered. After my ex, I never thought. But you're so gentle, so careful with Kara and me. You're the man I thought I was marrying the first time. We stayed there in the dark, planning a future that felt both impossible and inevitable. Tomorrow would bring verdict, judgment, consequences. But tonight was for dreams, for the family we were becoming, for the life after Dana. Morning came too soon. Kara insisted on wearing her lucky dress, the blue one with stars she'd worn to the play. For luck, she explained seriously, so the jury makes the right choice. How do you know what the right choice is? Holly asked, braiding Kara's hair. Mom hurt people. When you hurt people, there are consequences, like when Tommy pushed me and had to go to the principal's office, but way bigger. 9-year-old justice, simple, clear, uncomplicated by adult excuses. The courthouse was even more packed for closing arguments. Dana's parents were back, looking haggard. I wondered what it was like, watching your child revealed as a monster. Did they blame themselves? Me? The system? All rise. Judge Yamamoto looked tired but determined. This case had been a circus, but she'd maintained control throughout. We'll hear closing arguments, then the jury will deliberate. Miss Walsh? The prosecutor stood, command radiating from every line. Ladies and gentlemen, this case is about choices. Every crime Dana Chen committed was a choice. She chose to prostitute herself. She chose to lie. She chose to steal. And when threatened with exposure, she chose attempted murder. Walsh walked the jury through the evidence methodically. Financial records, text messages, security footage, witness testimony. The defense wants you to believe mental illness excuses everything. But mental illness doesn't make you open secret bank accounts. Doesn't make you target vulnerable young men. Doesn't make you plan vehicular homicide with such precision that you prearrange auto repairs. She showed photos again, Corey broken in the hospital, our burned home, Kara's destroyed bedroom. Dana Chen had a good life, a successful husband, a beautiful daughter, freedom and resources most people dream of. She threw it away for thrills, then tried to kill to keep her secrets. That's not mental illness. That's evil. Walsh faced the jury squarely. Hold her accountable. Find her guilty on all charges. Give her victims the justice they deserve and protect society from someone who views attempted murder as a reasonable solution to personal problems. Thank you. Webb's closing was passionate but felt hollow after the evidence. Nobody disputes Dana Chen made terrible choices. But why? That's what you must consider. A woman doesn't go from loving wife to attempted murderer without something breaking inside. He painted Dana as a victim of neglect, mental illness, societal pressure. Every excuse except personal responsibility. Prison won't help Dana Chen. Treatment will. Compassion will. Your verdict should reflect not just punishment, but the possibility of redemption. Nice words. But I'd heard Dana promise redemption before. It always came with a price tag. The jury filed out at 11 a.m. Now we waited. How long do you think? Holly asked as we found seats in the hallway. Catherine says quick verdicts usually favor prosecution. Long deliberations mean disagreement. So we want quick? We want just... Kara worked on homework, remarkably focused given the circumstances. Holly graded more papers. I pretended to read emails, but mostly watched the clock. 12:30, still nothing. 1:45. Lunch was delivered to the jury room, 3 o'clock. Kara was getting antsy. Can we walk around? She asked. Sure, baby. Stay close. We did laps around the courthouse, burning nervous energy. Other trial watchers nodded recognition. We'd all become familiar faces over the weeks. 4:15. The jury has reached a verdict. My heart hammered as we filed back in. Dana was already at the defense table, hands folded, face blank. Has the jury reached a unanimous verdict? We have, Your Honor. On the charge of attempted murder in the first degree, how do you find? Guilty. Dana didn't move. Her parents gasped. I felt Holly's hand squeeze mine. On the charge of arson in the first degree? Guilty. On the charge of child endangerment? Guilty. Down the list. Guilty, guilty, guilty. 37 counts of prostitution, tax evasion, fraud. The weight of her crimes crushing any sympathy the jury might have felt. Mrs. Chen, you've been found guilty on all charges. Sentencing is scheduled for 2 weeks from today. You're remanded to custody until then. As they led Dana out, she turned. Our eyes met across the courtroom. No tears now, no victim mask, just the cold calculation I should have recognized years ago. Then she was gone. Outside, the media frenzy reached new heights. Catherine ran interference while we escaped to the parking garage. We won, Kara said quietly. Right? This means we won? It means Mom faces consequences for her choices, I said carefully. Good. That's good. She was quiet for a moment. Dad, I don't want to go to sentencing. Is that okay? More than okay. I'm done. I don't want to see her anymore, don't want to think about her. I want to think about good stuff, like Holly and you and our new life. That sounds like a very mature decision, Holly said. I am very mature. I'm almost 10. The weight that had lived on my chest for months began to lift. It was over. Really over. Dana would go to prison. We could move forward without looking back. Ice cream? I suggested. To celebrate justice? Can we go to the place with the weird flavors? Kara asked. Whatever you want. As we drove away from the courthouse, I watched in the mirror as it shrank behind us. All those weeks of testimony, evidence, reliving trauma done. The chapter closed. The book slammed shut. You okay? Holly asked softly. Yeah, better than okay. Free. Finally, she agreed. Kara chatted about school, about her upcoming birthday, about everything except the trial. Kid's ability to compartmentalize was amazing. Or maybe she'd just learned what mattered. Not the parent who'd betrayed us, but the family we'd chosen. The ice cream shop was nearly empty, perfect for our celebration. Kara got something called Unicorn Dreams that was violently pink. Holly chose lavender honey. I stuck with chocolate, reliable and uncomplicated. To justice, Holly said, raising her cone. To family, I countered. To ice cream, Kara added, making us laugh. To all of it, I thought. To surviving, rebuilding, finding joy after devastation. To Holly's patience and Kara's resilience and the life we'd salvaged from the wreckage. Dana had tried to destroy us. Instead, she'd cleared the way for something better. That was justice enough for me. 2 weeks later, I attended Dana's sentencing alone. Holly stayed with Kara. We decided to treat it like any other day, not give Dana more power over our lives. The courtroom was less packed, though still plenty of media. Dana entered in shackles, orange jumpsuit replacing her court clothes. She'd stopped pretending, letting the harsh reality show. Judge Yamamoto reviewed the charges, the convictions, the sentencing guidelines. Then victim impact statements began. Corey went first, still using his cane but standing straight. Dana Chen took my ability to trust, to feel safe, to walk without pain. She tried to kill me for the crime of wanting honesty. He looked at her directly. But I'm here, I survived, I'll heal. That's more than you'll ever do. Other victims followed. Men she'd blackmailed, families she'd destroyed. The deputy chief's wife spoke about finding out from the evening news. Each story another nail in Dana's coffin. Then my turn. I spent 13 years married to a stranger. The woman I thought I knew never existed. Dana Chen is an accomplished actress who performed the role of loving wife while living a completely different life. I kept my voice steady, clinical. She didn't just betray our marriage vows. She endangered our daughter, attempted murder, destroyed countless lives for money and thrills. She's shown no genuine remorse, only regret at getting caught. I looked at Dana. She stared back, defiant. I request the maximum sentence. not from vengeance, but for protection. Someone who sees attempted murder as a reasonable response to inconvenience shouldn't walk free. My daughter deserves to grow up without fearing her mother's return. Corey Hoffman deserves to walk down the street without checking for cars aiming at him. Society deserves protection from someone incapable of empathy or truth. I sat down. Duty done. Dana's statement was brief, unrepentant. I made mistakes. I was sick. But I've been painted as a monster while my husband plays victim. He worked constantly, ignored his family, drove me to desperate measures. Now he's replaced me with a younger model and wants me to disappear. Well, I won't. I'm Kara's mother. That means something, whatever this court decides. Even now, she couldn't help the dig about Holly being younger. Couldn't accept responsibility. Couldn't show genuine remorse. Judge Yamamoto looked disgusted. Mrs. Chen, I've presided over many cases. Rarely have I seen such calculated cruelty presented as victimhood. You had every advantage, education, resources, a supportive family. You threw it away for base gratification, then committed increasingly serious crimes to avoid consequences. She reviewed each charge, each sentence. For attempted murder in the first degree, 25 years. For arson, 10 years. For child endangerment, 5 years. The numbers piled up. With some concurrent, some consecutive, the total reached 47 years. With good behavior, maybe 30. Dana would be in her 70s before possible release. Mrs. Chen, you've destroyed your life and damaged many others. I hope you use your incarceration for genuine reflection and change, though your behavior suggests that's unlikely. Court is adjourned. They led Dana away. She didn't look back, didn't cry, didn't react, just walked out of our lives, hopefully forever. Outside, Morrison waited. Hell of a thing, Doc. Yeah. You did good, staying strong for your girl, rebuilding. Not everyone could. I had help. That nurse, she seems solid. The best. He handed me a card. My wife runs a support group. Families affected by crime. Might help your daughter when she's ready. Thanks. I'll keep it in mind. Take care, Doc. Enjoy your freedom. Freedom. That's what it was. No more court dates, no more lawyers, no more looking over our shoulders. Just life, stretching ahead full of possibility. I drove home slowly, processing. 47 years. Dana would miss everything: Kara's graduation, wedding, grandchildren, her choice, her consequence, but still tragic in its waste. At home, I found Holly and Kara baking again. Cookies this time. The kitchen a disaster of flour and chocolate chips. How'd it go? Holly asked quietly. 47 years. Probably 30 with good behavior. Good. No sympathy, no second-guessing, just satisfaction that justice was served. Dad, we made celebration cookies. Kara held up a lopsided star. Because we're stars for getting through this. Perfect logic. I accepted the cookie, bit into sweetness. What now? Now we eat cookies and watch movies and be normal, Kara declared. Super normal. Boring normal. The most normal family ever. I don't know about boring, Holly said, but normal sounds good. That weekend, we started house hunting. The apartment had served its purpose, but we needed real space for our growing family. Holly's son, Marcus, would be visiting more now that things were settled. We wanted rooms for everyone, a yard for barbecues, maybe a home office for Holly's teaching. This one has a pool, Kara pointed out, scrolling through listings on the tablet. Pools are a lot of work, I warned. Holly likes swimming. I do, Holly admitted, but not pool maintenance. Maybe a community pool nearby? I suggested. Best of both worlds? We toured 6 houses that day, too small, too expensive, too far from work. Then the 7th, a craftsman in Wallingford with good bones and better potential. I like the kitchen, Holly said, running her hand over granite countertops. Good schools nearby, the realtor noted, and the basement could be converted to a teen suite for when the kids get older. Kids, plural, the future taking shape in casual assumptions. There's a reading nook, Kara called from upstairs, with a window seat. That sold it. We made an offer that night, slightly under asking but solid. The sellers, divorcing and eager to move on, accepted within hours. We bought a house, Holly said, stunned as we signed papers. Like actual adults. Having second thoughts? No, just, this is real. Our house, our life, no more temporary. No more temporary, I agreed, pulling her close. Marcus arrived for spring break, a quiet kid, 15 and awkward but warming up. He and Kara circled each other warily at first, then bonded over video games and shared experiences of family upheaval. "Your mom's nice," he told me one evening, helping with dishes. "I mean Holly, you're Holly. It's okay, she is your mom. And yeah, she's pretty great. She's happy here. Happier than I've seen her since." He trailed off. "Since your dad?" "Yeah, he was. Not good. To either of us." Marcus dried a plate carefully. "Is it weird? Being happy after everything?" "Sometimes, like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop." "Exactly." Relief at being understood. "But maybe that's just healing. Being careful but not closed off?" This kid was too insightful for 15. "That's exactly what it is." "Cool. Thanks. For making my mom happy, and for being cool with me being here." "Your family," I said simply. "Family shows up for each other." His smile was pure Holly, quiet but genuine. We moved in April, spring painting everything fresh. Our furniture looked sparse in the bigger space, but that was okay. We'd fill it slowly, choosing pieces together. "Can I paint my room purple?" Kara asked. "Whatever you want." "And can we get a dog?" "We'll discuss it." "That means no." "That means we'll discuss it," Holly interjected. "Maybe start with a fish." "Fish are boring. Fish are practice for bigger responsibilities." They negotiated while I assembled furniture, half listening to their comfortable banter. This was what I'd wanted, not the magazine perfect family Dana had performed, but real connection. Messy, loud, genuine. That night, in our new bedroom with boxes still stacked in corners, Holly and I lay on our mattress on the floor, too tired to set up the frame. "Happy?" she asked. "Exhausted. But yes, happy. You?" "Ecstatic. Did you see Kara teaching Marcus her secret cookie recipe? The one that's just chocolate chips in everything?" "That's the one. She's so good with him. Natural big sister energy." "About that." She rolled to face me. "Yeah? Maybe we should start trying. For a baby, if you still want that." "Really? Really? This house needs filling, our family needs completing, and Kara's campaign for siblings is getting more sophisticated. She made a PowerPoint yesterday. Why I need a baby brother or sister. With graphs. Graphs? Comparing only children to siblings on various happiness metrics. I think she made up the data, but the presentation was solid." I laughed, pulled her close. "So? Want to make an honest woman out of me first? Or just start practicing?" "Why not both? Unless you're proposing right now, on a mattress on the floor surrounded by boxes." "Would that be wrong?" "It would be perfectly us." She kissed me. "Yes, by the way. To all of it. Marriage, babies, forever. I'll get you a proper ring. Do the whole thing right." "Bradley Chen, we've done nothing traditionally. Why start now?" "Good point. We'd built our love in crisis, found joy in chaos, created family from fragments. Traditional was overrated." "I love you," I told her. "Thank you for taking a chance on us. Thank you for being worth the chance." Spring turned to summer. The house became home, Kara's purple room, Marcus's visits, Holly's garden taking shape. We hosted barbecues for hospital colleagues, had Catherine and Jennifer over for dinner, created the community Dana had pretended to want. The wedding was small, just family, close friends, Kara as maid of honor, Marcus as best man. Holly wore blue because white felt wrong for both of us. I cried when she walked down the aisle, not caring who saw. "About time," Morrison muttered from his seat. He'd become a friend, checking in periodically. Walsh attended too, having become oddly protective of our family. "You deserve happiness," she said at the reception. "After what you survived, you've earned this." Patricia Winters sent champagne and a note. "To new beginnings and better choices." Even Corey sent a card, signing it, "From one survivor to another, congratulations on your happy ending." Not ending, I thought. Beginning. Everything before had been prologue. This was where our real story started. Kara's 10th birthday arrived with less drama than the previous year. No arrests, no surprises, just family and friends and too much cake. "Make a wish," Holly urged as Kara faced her candles. She closed her eyes, concentrated, blew them all out. "What did you wish for?" Marcus asked. "Can't tell or it won't come true, but it's already started happening." She grinned mysteriously. Later, as kids ran through sprinklers in the backyard, Holly pulled me aside. "So, funny thing about wishes coming true." "Yeah?" She handed me a wrapped box. Inside, a positive pregnancy test. "Really?" "Really. Due in January. Kara's getting that sibling she graphed for." I spun her around, not caring that party guests were watching. "We're having a baby! We're having a baby!" she confirmed, laughing. Kara appeared immediately. "I knew it! I wished for a sister!" "Might be a brother," Holly warned. "Either's fine. I'm very flexible." She hugged us both. "This is the best birthday ever. Way better than last year." "Pretty low bar," I muttered. "Dad, we don't talk about last year, we talk about now, and now is perfect." From the mouths of babes. Again. That evening, after guests had gone and Kara had crashed from sugar overload, Holly and I sat on our porch swing, watching fireflies. "You know Dana's lawyer has been sending letters," she said quietly. "I know. Jennifer handles them. She wants contact with Kara." "Not happening. Kara made her choice." "What if she changes her mind? When she's older?" "Then we'll deal with it. Together. Like we deal with everything. I worry sometimes that this is too good, that something will break it." "Hey." I turned her face to mine. "Nothing's breaking this. We've been through the worst betrayal, attempted murder, public humiliation. We survived. We're stronger for it. Promise?" "Promise. Dana's locked up. The past is past. This is our life now. You, me, Kara, Marcus, tiny human on the way. Nothing touches that." She leaned into me, hand on her still flat stomach. "Okay, you're right. I just get scared, I know, me too sometimes, but that's just our brains trying to protect us from hurt that's already happened. We're safe now. I love you. Love you too. Both of you." We swung gently, watching night fall on our neighborhood. Somewhere across the city, Dana sat in a cell, paying for her choices. But here, in our home, with our family, life moved forward. The best revenge really was living well, and we were living very, very well. January arrived with snow and contractions. Holly, ever organized, had her hospital bag packed for weeks. I, supposedly a medical professional, ran around like a sitcom dad when labor actually started. "Bradley, breathe," she said between contractions, calmer than me despite being the one in pain. "I'm breathing. Are you breathing? Remember the exercises. I'm a nurse. I know the exercises." She squeezed my hand through another wave. "Get the bag. Call Marcus. Don't forget Kara's overnight stuff for your parents." Right? The plan. We had a plan. 3 hours later, Holly delivered our son with the same determined efficiency she brought to everything. 7 pounds, 3 ounces of perfect, screaming health. "He's beautiful," she whispered, tears streaming as they placed him on her chest. "He's perfect." I touched his tiny fist, overwhelmed. "What should we call him?" "James, after my dad." She looked up at me. "James Bradley Chen, that okay?" "That's perfect." Kara and Marcus arrived with my parents an hour later. Kara approached slowly, eyes wide. "He's so small." "You were smaller," I told her. 6 pounds even. "Can I hold him?" Holly helped position James in Kara's arms, supporting his head. The look of wonder on her face made every hard moment of the past 2 years worth it. "Hi, James. I'm your big sister. I'm going to teach you everything, like how to make cookies and how to pick good cartoons and how to know which parent to ask for stuff." "Hey," I protested mildly. "It's true. Holly's easier about screen time. You're easier about junk food. I've made charts." Of course she had. Marcus hung back until Holly beckoned him over. "Come meet your brother." "Half-brother," he corrected automatically, then stopped. "Actually, no, just brother. That's what we are now, right? A regular family?" "The most regular," Holly confirmed, pulling him close. Those first weeks were a blur of feedings, diapers, and no sleep, but also moments of pure joy, Kara singing to James, Marcus doing homework with a baby sleeping on his chest, Holly and I marveling at this tiny person we'd created. "I forgot how exhausting newborns are," I said one night, walking James through his witching hour. Worth it, though, Holly mumbled from bed. Even at 3 a.m. Especially at 3 a.m. He's pretty cute when he's screaming. You're delirious. Probably. But I wasn't. Even exhausted, covered in spit-up, running on coffee and determination, I was happy. Really, truly happy. The kind that comes from building something real with someone who sees you clearly and loves you anyway. Valentine's Day brought an unexpected visitor. Morrison called first, warning me, "Corey Hoffman wants to see you. Says he has news." I agreed to meet him at a coffee shop near the hospital. He looked good walking without the cane, color in his cheeks, spark back in his eyes. "Dr. Chen, thanks for seeing me. You look well." "I am. Really well." He fidgeted with his cup. "I wanted to tell you in person I got into grad school. Social work program at UW. Starting in fall." "That's wonderful, Corey. I want to help people. Like therapists helped me. Maybe work with victims of intimate partner violence." He met my eyes. "Turn what happened into something useful. The best kind of revenge." "Not revenge, purpose." He smiled. "I also wanted to thank you again. For saving my life, but also for showing me what integrity looks like. You could have covered for her, minimized things. You didn't. I did what anyone would. No. You did what was right even when it cost you everything. That matters." We talked for another hour, about his recovery, his therapy, his cautious return to dating. He was seeing someone, a fellow grad student who knew his history and didn't care. "She says scars show you survived something worth surviving," he said, "physical or otherwise. Smart woman." "Yeah, I'm taking it slow, but it's good, healthy." He stood to leave. "How's your family? I saw the birth announcement." "Perfect. Exhausting, but perfect." "Good. You deserve that. All of it." He paused. "Can I ask something? Do you ever forgive her? Dana?" I considered. "I've let go of the anger, for my own sake, for my family's. But forgiveness? That implies she's sorry. She's not. So no, I don't forgive her. I just don't let her matter anymore." That's actually really helpful. My therapist says I focus too much on forgiveness, not enough on moving forward. Forward's the only direction worth going. Spring brought milestones. James rolling over, Marcus making honor roll, Kara winning the science fair with a project on trauma's effect on plant growth. Subtle kid. Holly started her nurse practitioner clinicals, juggling baby care and studies with Grace. "I can defer," she offered one evening, surrounded by textbooks while James napped in his bouncer. "Absolutely not. We've got this." "We?" "Me, Kara, Marcus, my parents, the excellent daycare at the hospital. Village, remember?" "I love our village," she admitted. "Okay. But if it gets too much, it won't. You're going to be an amazing NP. James and I can survive a few months of controlled chaos." "Controlled?" She looked around at the disaster of toys, laundry, and medical journals. "Controlled-ish." The call came on a Tuesday evening in May. Unknown number, but something made me answer. "Dr. Chen? This is Chaplain Williams at Monroe Correctional Complex. I'm calling about Dana Chen." My blood chilled. "What happened?" "She's in the infirmary. Attempted suicide. It's serious. She's asking for you." "No. I understand your reluctance." "No. She made her choice. I have a family to protect." "Dr. Chen, I wouldn't call if it wasn't. She's dying, actually dying this time. The doctors give her maybe 48 hours. She says she has something important to tell you. About your daughter." Damn it. Always Cara Dana's last card to play. "I'll think about it." I hung up, found Holly watching from the doorway. "Dana? Dying, wants to see me. Claims it's about Kara. It's manipulation." "Probably. But what if it's not? What if there's something?" Holly sighed. "You'll regret not going. I know you. You'll wonder forever." "Come with me?" "Bradley, please. I know it's a lot to ask, but I need you there. To keep me grounded. To remember what's real." She studied my face, then nodded. "Okay. My parents can watch the kids. But we go together, and we leave together. No private conversations. No getting sucked back in. Deal." Monroe Correctional looked like every prison gray walls, razor wire, desperation made concrete. Holly held my hand as we went through security, steady presence in this echo of my past. Dana lay in the infirmary bed, and for a moment I didn't recognize her. Skeletal, thin, gray-skinned, oxygen tubes and IV lines. Whatever she'd taken had ravaged her system beyond repair. Bradley. Her voice was a whisper. You came. You said it was about Kara. Talk. So cold. I'm dying and you're still cold. You tried to kill someone, set our house on fire, traumatized our daughter. What did you expect? Warmth? She noticed Holly then, something flickering in her eyes. The replacement. Younger, prettier, more agreeable. The woman who helped put our family back together after you destroyed it, I corrected. What about Kara? Dana closed her eyes. There's money. Hidden. For her education. I kept one account they never found. 30,000. Blood money. College money. Information's in my effects. Guard has it. She opened her eyes, focused on me. I know you hate me, but I loved her. In my way. Your way nearly killed her. I checked her room. Stop. Just stop. You've been telling that lie so long you believe it. But I know the truth. You didn't care who was in the house. You just wanted to hurt me. You hurt me first. With your indifference, your work, your... No. My voice was steel. I'm not doing this. Not letting you rewrite history one more time. I worked hard. I was faithful. I loved you. That's the truth you can't stand, that I was decent. And you still chose destruction. She stared at me, mask finally dropping completely. You were boring, safe, predictable. I wanted more. And you got it. Affairs, excitement, danger. Worth it? Yes. Defiance even now. I lived. Really lived. Can you say the same? I looked at Holly, thought of our children, our home, our perfectly imperfect life. Yeah, I can. Every single day since you left. That hit her. For the first time, genuine emotion crossed her face, not regret, but envy. The money. Take it or don't. I don't care anymore. Is that all? What did you expect? Deathbed confession? Tearful apologies? She coughed, wincing. I'm not sorry, I'm just done. Then we're done too. I stood. Goodbye, Dana. Wait. Desperation now. Will you tell Kara, tell her. What? That you loved her? She knows. Also knows you loved yourself more. That's what she'll remember, that when given a choice between her safety and your secrets, you chose yourself. Every time. You poisoned her against me. No. You did that yourself. Kara's smart. She sees clearly. She made her choice based on your actions, not my words. I'm her mother. Biology doesn't make you a mother. Holly's more mother to her than you ever were, because Holly shows up every day without conditions or manipulation or lies. Dana turned to Holly then, real hatred burning through the drugs and oxygen deprivation. Enjoying my life? Building my own life, Holly corrected calmly. With a man who knows how to love properly. With children who feel safe. With truth instead of performance. So yes, I'm enjoying it immensely. He'll get bored with you too. Men always do. And when he starts working late, taking extra shifts, you'll know. Stop projecting, Holly said. Just because you couldn't conceive of actual love doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Bradley works hard, yes. He also coaches Kara's soccer team, gets up for night feedings, makes terrible pancakes every Sunday. He's present, engaged, faithful, all the things you never understood. Dana had no response. The machines beeped steadily, marking what time she had left. We're leaving, I said. Don't contact us again. Die with whatever peace you can find, but leave us out of it. Bradley. But we were already walking away. Out of the infirmary, through security, into the clean May sunshine. You okay? Holly asked as we drove home. Yeah, weirdly, yeah. Seeing her like that, still unrepentant. It's closure. Real closure. She'll never change, never get it, never be sorry. And that's not my problem anymore. What about the money? We'll take it. Put it in trust for Kara. Let something good come from the mess. Very practical. I learned from the best. Dana died 2 days later. The prison called, offered to release her effects. I had them sent to Jennifer. Let lawyers handle lawyers' business. Do you want to tell Kara? Holly asked that evening. She deserves to know. But how do you tell a 10-year-old her mother died unrepentant in prison? Honestly, simply, with support. So we did. Sat Kara down, explained that Dana had been sick, had died, was gone. Oh, Kara processed this. Am I supposed to be sad? You're supposed to feel whatever you feel. There's no right or wrong. I feel relieved. Is that bad? Like I'm sad she was sick, but relieved I don't have to worry about her anymore. About her showing up or calling or trying to take me away. That's not bad. That's honest. And brave to admit. Will there be a funeral? Her parents are handling arrangements. We don't need to go unless you want to. I don't. I said goodbye already. In my head, when she went to jail. Kara looked between us. Is it okay to just move on? Like she was never here? She was here, Holly said gently. She gave birth to you, and we're grateful for that. But she also made choices that removed her from your life. It's okay to accept that, and focus on the family you have now. The family I chose, Kara said firmly, and that chose me back. Exactly. Life moved on with surprising ease. Dana's death made minor news. Convicted attempted murderer dies in prison, but faded quickly. We didn't attend the funeral. Her parents never reached out. That chapter simply closed. Summer brought normal chaos camps for Kara, Marcus home from school, James crawling into everything. Holly passed her NP boards, landed a position at a community clinic serving vulnerable populations. I want to help people who need it most, she explained. People without resources, without support systems. Maybe prevent someone from ending up like Dana. Or like you almost did. That too, full circle, right? I'd never been prouder. Kara's 11th birthday arrived with a party in our backyard. Friends from school, soccer teammates, Marcus helping with games, James babbling from his high chair, normal, beautiful, ours. Make a wish, I urged as she faced her candles. This time she spoke it aloud. I wish for everything to stay exactly like this, forever. That's not how wishes work, Marcus protested. You're supposed to keep them secret. Secret wishes are for things you don't have. I have everything I want. She blew out the candles to cheers. Later, as kids played and adults mingled, Morrison pulled me aside. Heard about Dana. You doing okay? Better than okay? Free? Good. You've earned it. This, he gestured at the happy chaos, this is what winning looks like. He was right. Not the courtroom victory or the prison sentence, but this. Holly laughing with other moms, Kara teaching friends soccer moves, Marcus carrying James around like a proud big brother, family, community, love without conditions. Dana had tried to burn it all down. Instead, she'd cleared ground for something stronger to grow. Dad, Kara called. Come play. I went, joining the game, embracing the beautiful ordinary of our extraordinary life. In the end, that's all that mattered showing up, choosing joy, building something real from the ashes of what was false, living well, loving truly, the ultimate victory. 5 years passed in a blink. James grew from baby to kindergartner, all energy and questions. Kara entered high school with confidence I'd never had at that age. Marcus finished pre-med, following the path I'd taken decades before but with more wisdom about balance. Don't be like I was, I told him over coffee during his winter break. Yes, work hard, but also have a life, love, friends, hobbies. Speaking from experience? Hard-won experience. I gave Dana ammunition by working constantly. Not that it excuses what she did, but you've learned. I get it, he smiled. Besides, I've got you and Mom as examples now. Work-life balance masters. Holly had indeed mastered that balance, running her clinic while never missing the important moments. We'd learned to tag team, to prioritize, to be present in ways I'd failed before. Dad! Dad! James burst into the kitchen, Holly close behind. I lost a tooth. Look! He proudly displayed the gap, another milestone in a life full of them. Tooth Fairy's gonna be busy tonight, Holly said, ruffling his hair. How much does the Tooth Fairy pay these days? I asked. Market rate's $5, Kara supplied, not looking up from her homework. Inflation hits everyone. $5? I got quarters. Okay, Boomer. I'm Gen X. Whatever you say, old man. This easy banter, this comfortable chaos, everything Dana never understood. She'd wanted perfection, performance. We'd built something messier, but real. That spring, Kara asked the question I'd been dreading. Dad, I want to see Mom's grave. We were washing dishes after dinner, Holly putting James to bed, Marcus studying upstairs. Normal evening until those words. You sure? I'm 16. I think. I need to. For closure, I guess. To make sure she's really gone? I dried my hands, turned to face her. My little girl, now eye level with me, so mature but still needing her dad. Okay. When? This weekend, if that's okay? Of course. Want company? Just you, if that's all right? Whatever you need. Saturday dawned gray and drizzly-fitting weather for visiting the woman who'd tried to destroy us. Kara was quiet on the drive to the cemetery, picking at a loose thread on her jacket. You can change your mind, I offered. No shame in not being ready. I'm ready. Just nervous. Is that weird? Nothing about this is weird, or it's all weird. Either way, you're allowed to feel whatever. Dana's grave sat in a far corner, simple headstone with just her name and dates. Her parents had paid for burial, but apparently visited rarely, no flowers, no signs of remembrance. Kara stood before it for long minutes, rain misting around us. I thought I'd feel something, she said finally. Anger or sadness or something, but it's just empty. That's okay, too. I used to have nightmares about her coming back, taking me away. Even after she died, I'd dream about her showing up at school or soccer practice. She touched the headstone briefly. But standing here, she's just gone. Really gone. And that's good. Kara, I know it's harsh, but she chose this. Every step. She turned to me. I've been thinking about it a lot. In therapy, about nature versus nurture, whether I'll be like her. You're nothing like her. I know. Because I choose not to be. Every day I choose honesty over lies, kindness over manipulation. That's what Dr. Kim says. We're not doomed by our DNA. We're defined by our choices. My daughter, the philosopher. I'm proud of you, I told her, for facing this, for becoming who you are despite everything. Because of everything, she corrected. I learned what not to do from Mom, and what to do from you and Holly. Balance, right? We stood there a bit longer, rain picking up. Then Kara nodded once, decisive. Okay, I'm done. Let's go home. As we walked back to the car, she slipped her hand into mine like she used to when she was little. Thanks, Dad, for coming, for not pushing, for letting me figure this out. Always, baby. Always. Holly was waiting with hot chocolate and James's excited chatter about his play date. Normal life resuming immediately. Kara hugged Holly tight, whispered something that made them both tear up. Everything okay? I asked later, as Holly and I prepped dinner. She thanked me for being the mom she chose. Holly wiped her eyes. That kid, she just gets it. She learned from the best. We both did. Summer brought Marcus's medical school acceptance UW staying close to home. I want to do emergency medicine, he announced over celebratory dinner. Like Dad. You sure? I asked. It's brutal. The hours, the stress, the chance to save lives, to be there when people need it most. He grinned. Plus, I've got a better role model than you did. You actually come home. True. I'd learned to delegate, to trust my team, to prioritize family. Chief of emergency medicine now, but home for dinner most nights. Present for games and concerts and random Tuesday evenings. Well then, welcome to the family business. Holly, we're raising another crazy person. Runs in the family, she said, then froze. Oh my God. What? She looked at me, eyes wide. Runs in the family. We're actually a family, all of us. No steps or halves or complications. Just family. Yeah, Marcus said softly. We are. James, oblivious to the moment's weight, announced, I'm going to be a dinosaur doctor. Paleontologist, Kara corrected. That's what I said. Family. That fall, as Kara started junior year and James entered first grade, a letter arrived. Official looking, forwarded through Jennifer's office. It's from Corey, I told Holly, scanning it. What does he want? He's getting married. Wants to thank us again. Let us know he's okay. I read aloud. I know it's strange, writing after all these years, but I wanted you to know I made it. Finished my MSW working with domestic violence survivors. Getting married next month to an amazing woman who knows my whole story and loves me anyway. None of this would have been possible without your integrity during the worst time of my life. Thank you for showing me that good men exist, that real love is possible after betrayal. Wishing you and your family continued happiness. Wow, Holly said. Full circle. Good for him. He deserves happiness. So do we all. Thanksgiving brought the usual chaos: my parents, Holly's family, friends who'd become chosen family. Morrison and his wife, Walsh, now a judge, with her partner Catherine stopping by for dessert. Remember our first Thanksgiving? Holly asked, finding me on the porch during a quiet moment. You mean when Dana showed up at my parents' and made a scene? And Kara told her off through the window. My brave girl, even then. She knew her worth, knew what she deserved. Holly leaned into me. We all did, just took some of us longer to claim it. Worth the wait? Worth everything. Inside, laughter erupted. James doing impressions, Kara recording for TikTok, Marcus explaining medical school applications to patient relatives. Our house overflowing with love and noise and life. No regrets? Holly asked. Only one. What? That I didn't find you sooner, that we wasted years with the wrong people. Not wasted, prepared. We needed to break apart to learn how to build something unbreakable. When did you get so wise? Tuesday. There was a seminar. I laughed, pulled her closer. Through the window, I could see our family biological, chosen, blended into something beautiful. Dana's shadow had long since faded, replaced by this abundance of light. Come on, Holly said, before James eats all the pie. Impossible. Kara hid the good pieces. That's my girl. Ours, I corrected. Ours, she agreed. Later that night, after guests had gone and kids were asleep, Holly and I sat in our living room planning Christmas. 5 stockings on the mantel, tree already up because James insisted. Remember when we thought this was impossible? She asked. When we were just 2 broken people trying to protect a traumatized little girl? Feels like yesterday. Feels like a lifetime ago. Both true. She showed me her phone, a text from Kara at her friend's house. Tell Dad thanks for letting me go. Love you both. She's growing up. They all are. Too fast. That's the job, right? Raise them strong enough to not need us? While hoping they'll always want us around anyway. They will, Holly said confidently. We're the parents who show up, who choose them every day. That matters. New Year's Eve found us at the Space Needle James's request for his 7th birthday. Fireworks reflecting off the sound, our family bundled against the cold, watching 2029 arrive with thousands of others. Make wishes, James demanded as midnight approached. Out loud, Kara asked. Silent ones, more powerful. I didn't need to wish. Everything I wanted stood right here, Holly's hand in mine, our children safe and happy, life stretching ahead full of ordinary miracles. But I made one anyway. Let this last. This family, this love, this life we built from ashes. The fireworks exploded. James shrieked with joy. Marcus hugged us all. Kara took 1,000 photos. Holly kissed me as confetti fell, whispering, Happy New Year, Dr. Chen. Happy New Year, Mrs. Chen. Happy everything, she corrected. Around us, Seattle celebrated. But our real celebration was quieter 5 people who'd found each other, chosen each other, built something worth protecting. Dana had been wrong about so many things, but most of all about this. Love wasn't boring. Real love showing up daily, choosing each other repeatedly, building life together was the greatest adventure possible. Dad, look! James pointed at fireworks painting the sky. It's beautiful. Yeah, I agreed, looking at my family instead of the lights. Beautiful. The ultimate victory. Not revenge or justice or even survival. Just this love winning over betrayal, truth conquering lies, family triumphing over destruction. We'd won. Completely. Finally. Forever. Come on, Holly said as crowds started dispersing. Let's go home. Home. The word that meant everything. Best idea ever, I agreed. And together, always together, we headed home to our beautiful, chaotic, perfectly imperfect life. The life Dana never understood was possible. The life we'd claimed for ourselves. The life that was worth everything we'd endured to find it.